Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good day. Welcome to SKTV. Um, Welcome to today's edition. As you can see, we will play host to Leo Johnson. Leo will be joining us here momentarily. We're going to be connecting with the guys from Liberia. Uh, let's share the show as you join us. Tell us where you're joining us from, please. We have a lot to talk about. We'll talk about Leo's the project most recently taking a pony in Liberia by Leo and his team. I think they're called Empowerment Squad, but we'll get some clarity and context. We'll talk politics because nothing is done without politics. We'll talk about the project. We'll talk about what he's done so far, his dream, where he's come, how far he's come from. But in the meantime, want to welcome each and every one of you. And just for the record, or as a disclaimer, I've known Leo for years. We went to school together. Just so you know, but that would not stop me from getting Leo high question, man. You already know what time it is. That's my boy. But before that inside today. Before that inside, because we taught everything. We taught everything here. You already know, man. On SKT, we don't play games. But you will hear from Leo today, how far he's come, what he's done, what's going on, what to expect. Let's share the show, folks. Don't be me. As you come on the show, share the show to our Christian brothers and sisters. We want to say happy Good Friday. Happy Good Friday to the Christian community. Very, very interesting. Happy Good Friday to the Christian community. Happy Good Friday. So let's share the show, please. Let's share the show. Let's share the show. Please and please, let's share the show. Happy Good Friday to all of you, to our Muslim brothers and sisters who are fasting, who are still in the fast, the month of Ramadan. We say thank you, keep it up. Let's share the show, folks. We have a lot to talk about today, a lot to cover. Happy Good Friday. I remember years back in high school would be years and years back. At this time would be caring for church service to discuss the 7 words of the cross. A lot of different things. So yes, as we're with Milkbone and the team here who will be joining us momentarily. Someone will say in a jiffy. Let's share the show. Tell where you follow from you not that. Happy Good Friday, folks. Happy Good Friday. But let's share the show, my people. My people, yeah, let's share the show now. You will not die if you share the show. Let's share the show here. This show here, we know share the show. And let's share the show. We have plenty to talk. Plenty to talk. But let's share the show in the meantime. We have Monk here with us. We have Milkbone, the team from Liberia. A lot to unpack here. Leo will be in conversation with us. As you guys already know, nothing will be left off the table. We'll bring everything on the table. We'll talk about everything. You will get to know what Leo has done, Leo and his team, what they've done. Some of you get to know Leo as well. Leo always been cool, chill, live. Leo always been cool, chill, live back. He always been quiet, but he can make it happen. Even in his quietude, he makes it happen. My man, Mom, what's going on? My man, you drinking tea, that kind of time? My man, have a cool Friday, my man. What is going on?
Water. Glass of water.
No, I scared, man. Leave that thing, bro. That thing, that other water looking at.
Oh, on camera. I ain't so be on camera. Hold on. 1 second.
You know what time it is, eh? My man, what's happening? What's up? Mom.
Hello?
Yeah, Mom, you still there?
I'm here.
Yeah, my man, what's happening? What's going on, bro?
Not much, brother. We're just following the activities. Worldwide, politics, entertainment, business, tech. And today is a very important day on the Christian calendar. Today is Good Friday. That's the essence of Christianity. The Easter season. And today was Good Friday. The death and resurrection.
One of my other boys who switched from one religion to another, calling in the morning, say, "Oh, my man, so that today the flood Jesus and the king." I say, any way you want to tell me about that way it is.
That way it is. God in the form of man. That's what we call the incarnation.
Yeah, I told him, I said that today Jesus came to
that's the part that people don't understand.
I said that today Jesus came to fit things for Christians. Yeah, but Mark, my man, we have Leo here today as we wait the guys from Liberia to join us. I think I got some kind of signal here. As we wait the guys from Liberia to join us, we have Leo here. Leo will be joining us as our guest for the conversation today, and I know there's a lot we have to talk about. What say you?
Well, I mean, the situation in Riverside County is worse than we predicted because they said they are abandoning the search. There is no excavator to do further digging. So they are, I mean, the estimate is like 20 people are still trapped. I know they are all dead now because there's no way to get oxygen or food to them. It's not like advanced kind of a mining, no equipment and all that. The people were doing manual hand mining. So they are not going to survive anything more than 24 hours. In a few hours, I don't think they're even going to survive. So you will want to estimate that there will be 30 or 40 people that will be dead at the end of the day, which is very, very sad. And I saw some other news today about the asset recovery team about the vehicle that was taken from the former IG. I think they got a letter from the GSA saying that I think he purchased it legally. I don't know the process, but I saw that as well. And why again? Some other important news was how they call this? Yeah, so far from Liberia, that's the only two events that actually caught my attention this morning. The Diddy story is getting worse and worse. More people are coming out with this sex scandal and all this stuff. I mean, like, it's just crazy. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it seems like we the Adam gender we've been in situation we can't handle lately. I don't know what's been going on. I know my boy Milburn will join us here to give us some kind of update on it because that not era there. You understand?
Oh, he loved entertainment, right? Entertainment news, huh?
Yeah, but in the same time too, he let us face things. You know, Adam Channel seems like we've been on a huge attack.
Yeah.
You know, we've been on a huge attack. From all aisles, some other gender, you know, we've been on a huge attack lately by some of our sisters there, our mothers there, you know, our wives, our nieces. There's been a huge barrage of attack on Adam gender, and the level of insults have escalated. But the only thing I can say to some of them is, you know, let's be careful how we brand all men because one man hurts you or two men hurt you. Let's be careful how we brand all men because some of you have boys' children. You will be, down the line, you will become mother-in-laws. Down the line, you will become, you know, even grandparents to men, to children. So you want to be careful how you
make decisions, how you support situation.
you want to be very, very careful how, all men are useless and Liberian men are useless and Liberian men are this and Liberian men are that. And you want to, but at the end of the day, too, the good part about all the things, that Liberian men, they can stay BB.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They can go on and Liberian men, baby. Yeah, you see it.
One of my Liberian sisters, when the Kavanaugh hearing was going on, Kavanaugh served on the second highest court in the land before he was nominated to be on the Supreme Court. When we all know the thing was politics, there was no proof to that. And one of my sisters, she was just into it. Yeah, Alex, sister, when you watch TV, do you really understand what these people are saying? You looking at a man that coached a girls' team. He went to college, came out with flying colors, topped his class. Just when his proudest moment come to be nominated to the Supreme Court, you got a lady from nowhere came to accuse him. When they couldn't find a proof, the next one they went into attempt was, we're supposed to believe the female because she's a female. That we shouldn't investigate. He shouldn't be. He should be. Without being proven guilty, we just supposed to convict him because the new standard was whenever a woman accused a male of a crime, we just supposed to accept the woman's side of the story. Alex, you want to tell me you got 3 boys living in this house? You groom your boys to become good men in society, and some little girl can just come and accuse him of rape, and we're supposed to believe her for the fact that she a female, right? Like, you people are sick. It's the same thing happening. Don't support evil because you want to play politics. If you set bad precedent in society, it will most definitely come back to haunt you. That's where they were taking it. By this time, on every university campus, on your job, women are just going to be accusing men of rape, and we're supposed to believe them as the new standard for the fact that they are women. We are hearing the men's side of the story. We are exonerating him. Can you imagine that kind of a standard? Man, people are crazy, man.
Yeah, Mark. But on the other hand, too, I don't know if you read your boy Amara Conan. He wrote a piece.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Amara Conan wrote a piece. I'm not sure, what's up. Many of them coming to realization and reawakening call here. He wrote a quick piece here.
Yeah.
Normally he does his prayers and then he will write something. I think just looking at the beginning what he wrote. Basically,
it's a regular Facebook post or in the local dailies?
No, it's a regular Facebook post that also I think it was carried by other members, from the regular daily or whatever it is. Basically he's talking about the same thing, and he pointed out some of the things that we talked about here, such as this whole process started with a transitional team. He's blaming those who are on the transitional team as to what is transpiring in the government now as we speak. What say you, Mom? Is it too late? Because just from the very first few sentences here, look at what he states. Quote, the same politics 6 years apart due to poorly managed transition. So, the transitional team seemed like it was poorly managed. So we brought upon this leadership, same policies. Basically, from what he's saying, as a sitting senator, he's saying these are the same policies. What say you? Because I know earlier on you were talking about the former IG in person of Patrick Sulu, who, I don't know what's going on, but it seemed to be like they have this rigmarole going on there. Sometimes you don't want to get involved with some of these things, but man, the country is just noisy. What's going on, man?
Well, at least he finally came to the conclusion that the whole thing is nothing but a fiasco, the way it started. I told people on this show from the beginning, I will live with the idea that George Yako made a mistake. I will not live with the fact that Joseph Boakai, after 40 years, will be making rookie mistakes in government. I know I never supported Boakai. I'm not a fan of Boakai. But when you if you were to do a binary option between Joseph Boakai and Joshua, you will want to believe that due to Joseph Boakai experience in government, you want to side with Boakai. But like the way they got off the gates running is the total opposite of what people expected. Even if Joseph Boakai government will not succeed, we expected to be at a latter stage in his administration. But at this look, that's why they call it the honeymoon period. There's the easiest part of the show. When you get the ball rolling the presidency, the first 100 days you set the agenda, you give people that reassurance that you got some kind of a policy or vision that you'll be able to implement by the time the 6 years come to an end. But look at the first 65 days. Come on, man. The train is off the rail. I don't know if they are capable of pulling it back off the tracks, but I'm not going to put a bet on that, because if you're going to struggle at this early stage, then most definitely when prime time comes, you won't be able to give the Liberian people what they're bargaining for. So I'm not bullish about this administration. I know Joseph Parker doesn't have any new ideas to make Liberia better, anyways. Maybe he might be a little bit better than Georgia when the 6 year come to an end, but still, I'm not going to. If I was to do it again, I still cannot support Joseph Parker for 21st century presidency in this day.
But Monk, I know earlier on you were talking about international politics. You were talking about a lot of things moving around the world. We're talking about things that are going on. Most recently, we want to say here, we prayers to the families and the people affected. About what happened in Maryland.
No, River says right.
No, Maryland here. I'm talking about international.
Oh, the bridge, but that's that cargo ship. Yeah.
Yes. This is troubling. This is concerning. There's a lot of investigation going on. But Monk, and then what happened in Liberia also, all politics aside, I saw something, I read something from Chairman Musa Ability. I read something on his post. Let me say this. Let me give my honest take on it. This is a strong, big fight. But I want to commend Chairman Musa Ability and his family for coming to the public, for acknowledging what's going on, first of all, because he could have been in denial. They could have been in denial in, use. But that's, for me, that's first thing first. That's leadership. That's parenting. That's being a human being, admitted to the challenges that his son might be facing in terms of substance abuse, drugs, and so forth. I read a piece in, this falls within what I know and what I do. I see people who, family members, are addicted, and sometimes the struggles that they go through. This is big. This is problematic. The issue of addictions, they're not joking thing. And that's why, personally, I don't even try wine cooler because I don't know what could happen. I could get addicted. So I don't mess around it. But those who want to mess around it, just be careful, because at the end of the day, this is really, really big. But again, our prayers, our hearts out to Chairman Musa Ability and his family. And we'll hope that people will respect their privacy in this time while they go through this process. Again, it's a huge process. It's very, very big, the issue of addiction. Even though I don't support President Donald Trump, neither do I support President Joe Biden. But one of President Donald Trump's strong fights have been against the issue of drugs. I'll have to give him that credit, because he has a history wherein a family member was impacted by the issue of substance abuse. But Mark, is up to you. What say you?
His brother died from substance abuse, and that's where he found that he was never going to put liquor or any substance in his mouth, including his children. So he saw his older brother, and he said he was looking up to his older brother because he was very talented, but he died from drugs addiction. And since then, that's where he made that vow that not a single day in his life he was ever going to mess around substance. And you said it right. You see, when you're a parent, you can only groom your children to a certain extent. At the end of the day, once they become adult, the choice is up to them. Joe Biden's son struggled with the same thing.
Yeah.
Hunter Biden, he's worse. So, the media tried to cover up for him recently when they found the cocaine in the west wing of the White House. Like, everybody know exactly. No regular person will walk into the west wing of the White House. We all know who carried that drugs there. It was him. But, you can't blame the father. The other brother chose to be a diplomat. He did the right thing. Even Joe Biden was grooming him to become somebody, maybe run for the presidency. The one that died from the brain tumor, how they call it, Bill Biden. So you can have kids, you can groom them, you try to do your best so that they can become good people in society. But at the end of the day, they make individual choices. And so is the case with Musa Ability's son. They did the right thing coming up publicly. But it goes further to say that it's a national security crisis when it comes to drugs and that, brother. Nobody is off limit. Whether you are the middle class, whether you are poor, whether you are rich, addictions, no social status or class. It's just a personal decision people make. And you said it right. In America, fentanyl crisis. More than 120,000 died in the U.S. just last year alone. In a single year. You think about that. 120,000 from fentanyl overdose. Synthetic fentanyl, not even the original one, but the fake one, and most of them coming from China and other places. So as a parent, the most you can do is to train your kids and hope. I use the word hope that they come out right and make better decisions, because at the end of the day, their day-to-day decision making will be up to themselves. And he happens to be on the opposite side of chairmanability, so people know what it's all about. You can't play politics for this thing. It's a national security crisis, and nobody is off limit. You can only pray that your children or your child does better every single day, that they should make better decisions in your absence, because that's the whole idea of parenting. So one old man, he told me, he said, Cyrus, he said, you know, the primary objective of parenting, he said, parenting is not about your children doing right when you are present. It's about them doing right when you are not around. That's when you know that you succeed as a parent, because you have put in them certain discipline that they're able to execute even in your absence. That's why parenting, are like, wow, this is profound. And he said it right. It makes sense to me. You know, that's it, man. That's life.
Monk. On my personal Facebook post or feed, I think a year or two ago, I wrote something about, no, not a year or two ago, I think 2020, when the issue of drug addiction came up very high in the country, and the Ministry of Gender, quote unquote, they had this thing that they presented, or what they call, they presented a bill or whatever to the president, and they had a peace ceremony. When they crafted the bill and I read through it, whatever they crafted, a roadmap, whatever they crafted, I told them straight up that it was not realistic. It is not applicable. It can never work. And, many of them, some CDCs cost us that time. They say we hate the government.
You know them, a lot of politics.
Yeah, we're opposite. We're talking professional thing that people spend years on studying and do for a living. And you want to sweet talk me, or you want to discuss what I know better. You ready? And I just felt sorry for them today. Here we are. And I want to be clear on this. This is not a problem from WIA. This is not a problem from Taylor. This is not a problem from Ellen. The issue of drug addiction, substance abuse in our country should be a holistic approach. It cannot be somebody getting a safe house. No, government should focus on it if you want to save the nation, the next generation, the future of the country, human capacity. You must focus on that. That is critically important. And in order to do that, you need to get trained people who know what it is and what's going on. What are they support you? They don't support you. You need to get them to help you do that. All that thing you're doing, like, bro, you're going circle, you're wasting your time. And people who are also importing drugs and bringing drug, what are you, president, what are you, president's son, whoever, wherever the evidence lead, let them be arrested and let them fit the full weight of the law. You know who they're destroying. When we say some of these things, you're thinking, oh, it's hard sometimes to discuss professionally with us what you know. It's hard because some of you will get lost, you'll feel bored. But truly speaking, apart from the politics, the daily politics, we have a bigger problem at hand, a bigger problem at hand for the next generation. And if we don't tackle it as a nation, as people, we're going nowhere. We are going nowhere. The issue of drug addiction in our country will continue. It will become worse. You think addiction is a small thing, eh? You think addiction is a small thing?
I don't know.
You got no clue. People who get billions, millions, influencers around the world. Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston, politicians and other people, namely.
Oh, yeah.
On and on. World influencers. The issue of drug addiction knocked them down.
You know, the funny thing about the Michael Jackson story, when he was getting barred off on the drug, he told his security guy that they shouldn't allow his own sister, because she was kind of frustrated with him when it comes to the drug addiction issue. At a certain point in time, he got so fed up with her visitation that he told the security guard, the Neverland Ranch, that they shouldn't allow her to enter. Can you imagine? Just to make sure that he was okay and he got pissed. That's why addiction can do it. Your own biological sister, the one who's trying to be in your best interest, he told him you shouldn't allow her to enter here. Can you imagine that how bad it was prior to his death?
And the thing about drug addiction, as some of you don't even understand, is it even goes down from generation to generation. Because do you know that when I see some pregnant women even drinking and smoking hookah and drinking when they're having fun. You have no clue what you're doing to yourself and what you're doing to that unborn child. You are exposing that child. You are exposing that child. That's what we call predisposition. You are exposing that child. You'll be having fun. You'll be enjoying yourself temporarily and getting high and the other one. So it's a serious case. It's not a joking matter. Because that's part of the line of work I do. So I don't truly speaking, Mom, Let me just be honest with you. I don't even like to discuss that with Liberian people. Let me just be honest. I don't let it go there with them because first thing is they find justification for that. I look at a friend of mine who we hang out, and this man drinks on his days off. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, he drinks 4 out of 3 days. He drinks. But he said he drinking because he drinking in your house, you don't get in car to drive, so he's not addicted. I told him, I said, you're a fool. You're addicted. I told him that in his face. I said, you are a fool, you are addicted, and you are in denial, and you want to justify your addiction. You are addicted to alcohol. Imagine you can't sleep till you drink. Can you imagine? You enter some young people whom just now, when you say they say, oh, you're judging them. Okay, that's fine. If you think I'm judging you, then maybe you're doing something wrong. But the truth of the matter, you enter somebody home, you see liquor pot up, beer all in the freeze. They don't even have water there. Can you imagine somebody drinks beer when they go to bed? When they wake up in the morning, they don't even brush their teeth. They don't even do their personal hygiene. They got to drink. I don't understand. We went to an event where there was no alcohol. They said the place is boring.
Oh, yeah. That's common thing in our community. When there's no alcohol, nothing. There mean no entertainment. It's boring.
I mean, how do you live your life surrounded around some kind of substance and you say you're not addicted? You are addicted. You are just in denial. You are realistically in denial. And it builds up, though. Your tolerance level builds up, whether you like it or not. It builds up over time. So you will start taking wine cooler. Before you make up your mind, you start taking Guinness. Before you make up your mind, you start taking Henneken. Before you make up your mind, you move on to Jack Daniel, the other funny one they get. They got funny name there on, and they don't even read the bottle. They don't even read what the thing are made out of. They don't read what it's made out of. Somebody told me one time, went somewhere, and I know you don't drink, but just take wine cooler. Why am I cooling myself down with wine cooler for? To do what? How does that benefit me? How? So that later on I can start calling for something harder than the wine cooler when my system should have gotten addicted to it. No, we're not doing no wine cooler. We'll do water or we'll do soda or juice. We're not doing no wine cooler. Keep it moving with your wine cooler. You're not about to get me in your addiction or that your alcoholic crew. I'm not going to be part of it. If you want to take it personal, that's fine. And when you say these things, they get vexed. You get told that, and people will think that you're judging them, that you think that you're better than them. Or if you think I'm better than you, then I'm better than you, though. If you think because I can drink, I'm better than you, then I'm better than you. That you got that problem, and I mean get it. So you need to go seek help. So, many of our people, and everywhere you go, sometimes even a few days ago, I told someone, I can't go to a certain event where they got you made a whole plane load and say fire there, they play catch on fire, so smoke all over the place. Everybody smoking. And everybody changing that little thing, they got to put
it. They call it C-shot, right? And I think it's more deadly and personal
the C-shot,
we don't
they got that foolish thing. And you don't even know somebody, the other person let me smoke. You can't them the process, and you're changing.
Our people are just some funny people. And you think they think that it gives you some kind of a status or class. I can't be looking up on the between that nonsense. That thing originated from the Arab war. The Arab people were the one that came up with that stuff. But the stuff that they inhale is a particular herb, a particular plant. Our people don't know the guy, all the fake chemicals around. I was listening to one investigator. He said that stuff is more deadly and personal than a regular cigarette. I was like, and you got what people smoking like they think it's some kind of an entertainment. That when you go somewhere, you see the mid circle and they call it C-shot. Like, ignorance is a bliss for sure, man. It's crazy. Well, anyway, that's the life we found ourselves today.
Sometimes when we sit and we tell our people some of these things, some of our men also so they get personal or the ticket is vet, but we tell them from cool dog. But anyways, Monk folks will be bringing our guests here in a second. Leo, like I said, disclaimer again, I've known Leo for years. We went to school together. When saying America, Leo, you have always been a cool cat. Quiet, chill, laid back guy, you know what I mean? So that's who he is. Never been into, so when you see him quiet and cool, at this age, that's who we are as women, Somehow maybe we used to be higher in school, by the time you were in 12th grade, he said he's on the call grind, but we say cool, nothing personal. Yeah.
In another breaking news, something major is about to happen in the international scene. And it's going to change the entire globe. The BRICS nation will be officially launching their currency on the 1st of April. Yep, that will be backed by gold. You know, I was doing a little research in history when I saw that news, and the reason that caught my attention because Ghana established a commission to do an assessment whether to join the BRICS nation because they are mostly now South Africa, Brazil, China, India. They put their economy together. So if you are trading with those countries, you will be using their currency. They call it the ruble, and they will be trading on the stock market. For one ruble, it will cost $50 US. So you are telling me it will be 50 times more powerful than the US dollar, and it will be 55 times more powerful than the British pound. 1 to
Well,
50, 1 to 55.
well, then that's a serious problem from an economic standpoint.
Point. Yep.
Well, from a power world superpower standpoint for the United States,
It is a problem. And
it's a
when I
serious.
was, yeah, it's a problem. It's going to undermine the US because there have been the United States' biggest leverage when it comes to international trade. That's why the US was able to print money, the fiat currency, indiscriminately because they were the rest of the world trade the US dollar as the reserve currency for the rest of the world. So if you got all the powers coming together to come with their own currency, it undermines the US. So I went back and did a little bit of research, and they say history rhymes or history repeats itself.
Yes.
In 1971, Richard Nixon, he came up with something called the New Prosperity. They called it the Nixon shock. You know, when World War II ended, they created something called the World Bank. They called it the Bretton Woods system, which is the World Bank and the IMF and all these financial institutions around the world. So in the US at the time, they had this system wherein the foreign currency in relationship to the US dollar was going to be counted in gold. So the money, the US currency was backed by gold. Gold was this gold, they are what they call it the gold standard, right? So it means the number of gold you have reserved was equivalent to the currency that would be in circulation. But during the 60s and the 70s, the US were engaging in more war like the Vietnam Wars and other wars. They had more military spending. They had to increase their military budget. They had to do foreign investment. They had to give her aid because the US foreign policy was getting her in a lot of troubles around the world. So the economists in the US came together. They hosted a meeting saying, you know what? The gold standard thing cannot work because we don't have enough gold to back the money we are printing. So Richard Nixon came and destroyed the gold standard. He destroyed the Bretton Woods system.
But Monk, I think on Sunday we'll get into this a little deeper because this could be part of the strategic reason why countries like Russia and other people are positioning themselves
in Africa,
China, yes.
That's why I was looking to, but we'll do it on Sunday. It will be an interesting topic.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely talk about it, the geopolitics and why some of these guys moving strategically and position themselves, and even when you see African nations are rebelling, such as the French-speaking nations, you know, who have some incentives or who have some natural resources in this concept to compensate for whether it's the gold or other things. But these nations from the West, they definitely want to have that status. They definitely want to ensure that they position themselves. These guys are thinking ahead and they know where the competition will be. So they have already started where to position themselves and so forth. But that's very interesting. You know, I didn't follow that part of it. I know you were into the trading, the stock market and so forth. Once in a while, I would find myself in some of the trading groups and I would just remove myself. But going forward, I think I'll keep myself in there just to kind of learn and understand. And I still look forward to you. I know you sent me some of the documentation to teach me the trading and all the different things.
Right, it's a must-have skill. Very important, though.
Yeah, I need to get to terms with that so that you know. Yeah, but Mark, while we're with Leo Leo was on, but he signaled us that you know something happened with his computer really quick, so he's rebooting it to join us back here. We'll be like we said, we'll be playing host to Leo on his show today. Folks, you don't want to miss it. Like I said, Leo and I have been schoolmates, even though we're not classmates, but we're schoolmates. I think Leo were ahead of me a class or two. And he was my senior at the time, graduated before me from high school. And so senior at that time back home, you already know when you can't lit, you know, the senior. But the only excuse I have why you can't lit Monk is I was playing on a school team. So Leo then used to get, so we used to use that play on the school team back in the day to be people there. And you understand why you people, you can't lit. Yeah, I mean, you can't lit, you still get that kind of pass, you know. So everything was working out very, very well. But still they used to bounce you and say, no, them man, they're coming late tomorrow. The school not get game tomorrow. We use it, you know. So we've been on the level there for a minute too. We understand the whole system. We know what's going on. We know what's up. We know what's happening. But Monk, there seem to be some shifts in the Unity Party. Some of the partisans, some of the rescuers have started. Oh no, we'll let Leo's here. We'll keep that for another time. Let's bring Leo on without wasting any time here. Leo, how are you?
I'm good, Steve. We're a little jabbing you were throwing for back in the day. I will not answer to that. No personal bad feeling. We'll keep it really well.
You know what? Then we have a St. James chat room. I think I'll put a show in there after there. Nice. So that some of the men who been there with you back in the day, the men can know how to look at.
And so of Liberia. So let's break and be right back.
Yeah, so welcome to the show, Leo. We have the guys from Liberia joining us here. We're waiting for the other station as well to join us. But Leo, welcome. Again, congratulations to you and happy Good Friday to you. I'm not sure if we can say that now as Christians, but happy Good Friday to you. Yeah. And I'm very excited. Congratulations. Thanks for all you do. But overall, let's give you the opportunity to maybe introduce yourself to those who don't know you.
Yeah.
What say you?
No, thank you. Thank you so much, Stephen. It's an honor for me to be on SKTV. So thanks to all of you for having me on your show. Very popularly followed show, and I do my best to keep up with it all the time that I can. My Miata Sterling, shout out to her there. She makes sure I don't miss the show, even if I don't see it live. I go after. But to the audience, my name is Leo Nupolu Johnson, a Liberian just like yourself, living in Canada, but I'm always in Liberia at least 2-3 times a year with some of the work that's going on there. And I'm excited to be here because, like we say, what happens in Liberia affects us all. So what we can do, whether to talk about it, whether to point out the ills, whether to bring about ideas or lead initiatives, we all have different means by which we can contribute to Liberia. So I'm happy to be here today. Nice to meet everybody.
Thank you, Leo. Again, it's good to have you on. You're not a stranger to SKTV, folks. Please share the show. Help us invite other people, friends, family members. Let's hear from Leo today on this conversation. But Leo, I feel left out though, and you had this big vision, this big dream, and you used to be making all the cock grab back in the day because I was senior back in the days, and we are here. And the first time I ever came across, I said, "Oh, well, question to you, Leo, how long have you had this dream, and what prompted this? What prompted this?"
So this started 2004. This goes back way 2004, and Stephen, we're in Danane back in the days. What's her name, Mrs. Christine Talbot Norman? Peace to her ashes. She's dead now. The daughter of former President Willamara Talbot. She used to come to Abidjan because they had a home in Abidjan. And she was big on her Bible studies. So whenever she came, she would organize these Bible studies. And everybody would come there because after the Bible study, she gave everybody $1 bill. And those days when you get $1 bill to Sifa, when you change everything to Sifa, you actually be boy in town. Yep. So I mean, you know how many roasted fish and I check from the local drunk and so those days. My friend Samuel used to go to it because he was in Abidjan. We're in Danane. I wasn't in Abidjan. But he used to play the piano, so he used to get a little bit more, because he the man I can play the piano. So this day, she shocked everybody after the Bible study. She gave everybody one book instead of $1. Like, you should have seen the disappointment on people's faces. But the book she gave my friend was the book about Samuel Kabu Morris, a Kru prince back in the 1700s. Who had been brought to the United States by missionaries, and he managed to self-educate himself. And at the time, the university, which is in Indiana, it was Fort Wayne College, but they now call it Taylor University, was at the verge of bankruptcy. He managed to raise enough money through his evangelism in the community to save the university from bankruptcy. Now, this story was so incredible that the university to this day has a statue in his honor, right in the forecourt of the university. There's a movie actually in his honor. This is a crewman from Liberia. We read that book, and those days, Steve, we wouldn't talk about what we knew. And what we knew was a library those days was the 44 container with storybook and inside that used to be our various campuses in LIB. So we had this dream that we wanted to go to Liberia. My man Samuel Jacob, myself, Emmanuel Reeves. We wanted to go to Liberia and build a library. But what we knew a library was a 40-foot container with books inside, storybooks. So when we're coming, when God blessed me, we came to Ghana. I had a chance to come to Canada. And, now my man, this was the dream. So I was so excited because, I didn't know raise something. I laid 10,000. We buy the container, maybe 3,000. Then I can get storybooks from Canada. We can ship it. So I came to Canada with a commitment to them that, this project, we need to follow through on it. When I got to Canada, Steve, after a few weeks, I had a unique opportunity to visit what is called the Hamilton Public Library. And I stood there for about 5 minutes speechless because in my entire life, I had no clue what a real library actually was. This thing was so grandiose, like I couldn't make sense of it. And from that day on, the dream that was a 40-foot container changed. And by the time I could understand what it takes to put something down like that, it went from a $10,000 dream to a $2 million dream. And that is how the Liberian Learning Center started to emerge. And then I needed to do the work and find all the people who could help me understand how to bring this all together to make sense.
So from a $10,000 to a $2 million United States dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Leo, thanks. Congratulations again. Just before Mon comes in with a question or two, let me throw in this question. How long did it take you to raise this $2 million? And what are some of the challenges to summarize this part?
I would say it took around 6 to 7 years. And here are some of the challenges, and people don't know that. And when we say this, people say, oh, sometimes Leo think Liberia like America, or Leo think Liberia like Canada. First of all, we have no credible data in Liberia. I can say that to you because I spent 6 years, Steve, traveling across the country. We visited 13 out of the 15 counties with my research team. We talk about Maryland, Grand Juda, Nimba, Grand Cape Mount, Lofa, Bon. We went there. We spent at least 2 weeks in each of these counties. We spoke to everybody from chiefs to women group, youth group, elders, straight up to President Sirleaf's office. At the time, Otello Gonga was the Minister of Education. And even we went up to the Ministry of Education, we had no data. I mean, credible data that could tell us how many schools are actually in the Republic of Liberia. There are all kinds of schools in Liberia, not even on any record. How many students can you say are actually enrolled? We didn't have, maybe they have it now because, let me just qualify that. But we didn't have the credible data at the time. And if we had any data, they were very old data, or they were data not done by credible institutions, research institutions with all the proper things that needed to be done. So we needed to create our own data, which took us 6 years. Thanks to the university in Canada for giving us researchers to come to. We came out with over 1 terabyte of recordings, like 100 gigabytes of notes, because we were trying to take all the notes. And then the university research department took it apart to help us understand what is it people were saying to us. So the top 5 things that emerged, for example, you started to see everywhere we went, those top things were top five. They were on top of that list. 1 was a safe space for kids to access educational materials. 2, educational resources. That's when we learned there's no proper bookstore in the Republic of Liberia outside of the World Trade Center. There's nowhere. So even if you have the resources and the money to actually buy it, you can't. Number 3, we also learned that girls in most of the rural areas outside of Monroe were getting raped because at night when they come from selling, they go find somewhere where there's light, maybe on the street or to somebody compound, to try and study, and then on their way back. So we found all of these things and had to make sense of it. We went back to Liberia and then made another tour to ask people if what we summarized made sense based on what they actually told us. Now, people think to raise money, you just got to go out and give people a beautiful idea. No, that's not it. Especially if you want to raise $2 million. If you're raising just 10,000 or 5,000, you can decide people. But for example, some of our major donors wanted to see 5 years continuously of our audited financials. They wanted to see audited financials to know what was happening. They wanted to know what our annual budget was, because if you're asking people to give you $2 million and your annual budget $100,000, you've never managed $2 million in your life before. How will someone give 100 to 2 million? You haven't shown the capacity to manage it. People have questions around how would this thing be sustained? We can give you the money to go and build it. People have questions around corruption. How can you put the controls in place to make sure this money will not be stolen? People have questions around no stable electricity. How are you going to go build such a massive facility? Where will you get the electricity to keep it running? Water. Where will you get the water? And some people were able to cost it out for us because the cost of electricity in Liberia. People were like, how will you run a facility in a country that electricity will cost you at this level and you have to run it continuously as an education facility? And like all of these questions took us 6 years to be able to answer in a satisfactory manner. And then the biggest thing there was people in Canada don't know about Liberia in America. Anytime I want to talk to someone, I had to take 30 minutes to explain to them what Liberia was. However, I had to be faced with, whenever they Google all the corruption stories, all the horrible stories, I had to find a way to clarify that first before even getting them comfortable to want to have a conversation about this matter. So you see $2 million raise, they're not voodoo, they're not magic. It took us those systematic processes. I'll give you an example. One of the gentlemen who donated $300,000 right on the spot. We were in conversation with him for 3 solid years, back and forth, answering questions, whether he was satisfied with it or not, before he eventually got to the point of making that donation. So just to give you a background of how we got to that point.
Okay. Wow. Well, thank you, Leo. Just the perspective alone, it's raising a lot of questions, a lot of concern. Monk, what say you? Do you have any question for Leo?
Well, I mean, once again, Leo, thanks for that great initiative. It was very, very splendid. I saw the presentation and the opening ceremony, and you guys took a lot of time. Like you said, people want to know where their funds are going, so they're going to do their own due diligence, especially when it comes to Liberia. Canada is not a US, so you have to explain yourself. But you talk about the top 5 that kind of gather your decision in terms of the data that was collected to make sense of it. So going to the future, you think it will be more of a learning center or specifically just a library? Do you guys plan on integrating into a learning center where you can develop additional skills, especially for younger kids coming up? Let's say elementary to junior high students. I mean, something like that. Because you get more from a learning center as compared to just a library now because of the Google search and a whole lot of stuff. So what you think maybe 4 or 5 years from now going down the road?
So that's a very important question. I think everybody just got excited about the library part, and that's why everybody been running with. It is actually a learning center, and let me tell you the components. So we have a public library that would be a hybrid between a general library and an academic library. Because again, we want to become the official bookstore in Liberia, where any academic book you need. And the reason we can do that, the public library system in Canada has struck a partnership with the Learning Center in Liberia. That now anything you can access in the public library system in Canada, you'll be able to access it at our facility. The academic library from McMaster University, in fact, their vice provost was on the trip with me to Liberia, have also come on board that they will also make their academic resources from their library also available to the system. So everything from articles to books, academic stuff, you can name all of that, it will be available. That's one component. The second component is a dedicated children's library, curated only for kids. Content, materials, all of it. In fact, it is the largest space in the facility because we wanted to make a statement that this was an example for the future and not for now. So the most prominent space in the building is the dedicated children's library.
Wow.
We also have a small business incubation center in the space. So we'll be able to take up to 15, 20 small businesses that are just starting up, for example, and cannot afford to pay their overhead costs, and you have your own office and all of that stuff. They will be incubated in the space because when you're incubated, let's say you're paying $500 a month. For that $500, you get uninterrupted internet or interrupted electricity, boardrooms to meet, a receptionist, a meeting center, everything that you will need to run a business. But when you are in the incubation center, we would then be leveraging trainings from here, like from entrepreneurship training, financial literacy, accounting, finances, all of that, to equip them so that within 2 to 3 years, you will know whether that business is a viable business or it is a failed business so that you can move on. So the goal is not to have you there permanently. The goal is to have you there in the incubator so you can run all of the different analysis to understand whether or not that makes sense. Another piece we're having in the space will be a living cultural archive. Most of our artifacts in Liberia are scattered everywhere. They're not in located museum. People hold some key important pieces. A gentleman contacted me online. A white gentleman that used to be a professor in Liberia in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. They have a group, a network of those of them that were in Liberia that took some precious materials from Liberia when they walked in because they couldn't afford for it to stay there and get damaged. Right. They've contacted me and want to discuss how they can repatriate it into the learning center as we speak. So we're having a living cultural archive. I wish somebody called me and gave me the Liberian permanent resident card book from 1976. It is solid than our current passports. So the things have already started to come in.
Come together. Wow.
Because this is going to be a space for learning. It's also going to be a space for facilitating some very important work.
Well, Leo, quickly, it seemed as though this is not only big, but you guys are thinking in terms of preserving history, culture, and so forth. So then my question becomes, how is there a space to accommodate, traditional cultural practices as opposed to just the literal part of it, maybe the reading part and so forth. Some of these arts and historical facts from Liberia that are out there. Is there a place to accommodate these things?
In fact, let me show you something. You see this book? This book is titled Guaponoi Apai. It's Pele. It's a Pele book. In fact, what we're doing now is we're already beginning to create connections with the Lutheran Church in Liberia, which has translated about 7 of our local languages already into text, reading text, so that we can start to promote literacy in our local languages, not just speaking. Actually, I've been learning Pele as of this book. I can read Pele now because of this book. So, to your point, the culture of Liberia, and I want Morovia,
right?
That's a mistake. That's a tragedy. That we will be digging deeper. And because we don't have no place right now to collect that type of knowledge, that's the problem we have. So the Learning Center is going to be a true learning center to curate knowledge, to facilitate knowledge for 2 reasons. One, either to unearth some of the knowledges that have been banished in the past for so long that our people don't have, or to unearth some of the lies that we've been running around with and saying that's what happened, so that the people who know the truth can debunk it, so that we correct it and know what's the accurate information. That's one of the problems in Liberia. We got 5,000 narratives to one particular story, and we don't know which one really is the authentic one. Some of them we may never be able to actually know. But some of the ones where we got eyewitnesses still around, we need to elevate it so that we can get the proper account.
Most definitely so. Well, folks, we're in conversation with Leo. If you can please help us share the show. I think this is very, very historical. It's very, very important. Speaking about the project that Leo and his team most recently undertook. The cost, according to him, is $2 million United States dollars. And Leo, just for clarification, did you get any kind of aid, any kind of assistance, any kind of subsidies, or whatever Mike Churley asked from the Liberian government?
Let me say this, Cuddy. No, up to now, we haven't received $1 from the Liberian government. In fact, I'm going to be putting forth to the Liberian government as we were dedicating a facility, right? We didn't open. The opening date for the facility is December 6th this year to be open to the public. Okay. We were only doing the official dedication. As we were dedicating the facility, Steve, the doors and windows, because it was impossible to fabricate it in Liberia because of the quality of the steel that we needed. So the fabricator overseas sent it in, was stuck at the Freeport, and they will not release it because we are paying full price, even though this entire thing is coming to benefit the country and not Leo Johnson. So,
no. Leo, hold on, baby. I don't interrupt normally, but let's go back. Can you say that in simple English so maybe the people watching, our people can understand what you saying, Leo? All that BB Bodem.
So all the things that we sold us in Liberia to finish the bidding here, all the door, the window, all the important things that was on the ship, right? If you see the bidding on it. And you know when it comes to Liberia, you can hear about Freeport, the way now you start to put into Freeport. They want to bring in, and not for me, and I'm building house. I ain't even get home in Liberia here. I'm building in Liberia here. We building the learning center here for our children there. And by the way, my brother Steve, we took it to the Pinsville City Hall ground. And not even on private land before they say, Leo doing a thing on a call. No, it's on the Pinsville City Hall ground. So the day Leo decides he get there, he not want to be involved, the government takes it because it's a public facility, not for anybody private. The thing also clear from the Freeport. So we know all the Nyama thing we're sending in the country. We paying full price of it, tens of thousands of United States dollars to clear it out, even though it's coming right back to the country.
So you said the government own thing, the thing that you're sending for the government to build a same place for our people there. The government still charging you to the Freeport to free that thing from there.
We still got to pay to the Freeport. So, and I informed the
government. It's not strange, Steve.
Yeah. No. More.
It's not strange.
I'm stunned.
Yeah. This is. So we asking the government, and in a public manner, again, we'll send the proper documentation to them. Again, we're begging them for duty-free, because right now, Steve, as I speak to you, we're getting ready. We're supposed to ship in cars for the center, right? Vehicles for the center. We'll be shipping in laptops, computers. We'll be shipping, you name it, all the stuff. We're probably going to be shipping another 4 to 6 43 containers over the next 6 to 8 months of all the equipment and stuff, furniture that's supposed to go in the space. So we'll be begging the government again to give us duty-free, or else we'll have to pay close to $50,000-$60,000 to clear all of those things, just to bring
and those computers. And Mark, let me ask this question. Maybe you can come back here. I'm very sorry. And those computers, the cars, all these things will be used by Liberians on ground to run the center.
Exclusively for the learning center. In fact, it will be parked that way. It will be parked because what we're trying to do, Steve, is that when we start to run programs to supply schools and support schools, right? You need the logistics. We're trying to even get a library that will be able to move into communities on the weekend with literature programs, reading programs, and stuff. So again, I want to just direct, this is not even a criticism. I'm just putting it up from straight because we don't set our priorities right as a country, right? We do not. We give tax breaks to major corporations who are coming into the country to make profit, actually. But because we don't set our priorities right, even our brothers and sisters out here in the diaspora who are struggling, there has to be a clear process laid down as to how we can give them incentives. Just because they're not coming to make profit, they're not coming to do mining, they're not coming to do something, they're coming to do important things that they don't profit from for the country, we can give them incentives to make their lives easy.
Wow. Well, Mark, I don't want to come in. Folks, keep sharing the show and following us.
Oh, somebody asked, by the way, Empowerment Square Liberia is registered as a non-profit in Liberia. So someone asking if we register as a tax-exempt entity. We are a registered non-profit in Liberia and a registered non-profit in Canada as well.
Very interesting.
And Steve, let me just add to it before you come in to say, even if we were not, if we see Liberians on the diaspora who are coming back to the country and we can verify what they're doing, and know that they're doing it for the general public good of our citizens, we, the government, we don't want supposed to be reaching out to them to say, okay, what do we need to do? Okay, here are the paperwork you need to do for us to be able to help you.
Most definitely.
See, we can say, my man, they say they saw on your foreheading. Then he said, me, I'm not going nowhere. It is that, and I can't to come see my soul, or the nurses, and I pass here to see my soul. I will sit down here, let the soul be getting big.
But Leo, in other countries, when citizens are bringing these kind of initiatives that will benefit the general public and for the general good of the nation, to elevate the country, to bring pride, in most cases, the government work with it and make it easier.
Let me give you Canada example. We just shipped almost 100 drums. And the African drums?
Yeah.
To Canada here, right?
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I went, the man when they asked for our paperwork, I showed the paperwork. Check. That was supposed to cost us around almost, I think, $9,000 to $10,000 in all the duties and things. But because we are a registered nonprofit,
yes,
I didn't need to go to any special office. One, he could prove the certificate and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Check. The only thing I need to pay for was transportation.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So that's part of the benefit of even registering with the government as a non-profit organization. But on top of that, the government was excited and happy. I saw members of the government. I even saw the president in the pictures and in the videos that I saw.
And some of us, Steve, we're not even, the reason some of us don't complain, when I mean complain, we're raising it so people can correct it. But the reason some of us not even complaining because the work we get to do for the country and our children is too important. So we are painstakingly going through that, but at the same time raising it. So that I hope the policymakers can actually listen. This is not just for Leo. This also includes all of the other Liberians and people out there who are doing incredible work, going back to Liberia and doing incredible work, doing their best.
We had a couple of guys from the port here at some point. Some of them reached out beyond close and were complaining that they will shift their businesses to Guinea and Ivory Coast because, not only that they're respected there, but these guys are willing to work with them. To give them some form of accommodation and so forth, and some form of incentive, like you said, the word that word incentive is strategic, it's critically important.
In fact, I would believe the government should be coming out and even saying to people, you know what, if there are any Liberians out there who are coming to this country doing work we can verify for, the government should be running with this kind of stuff. This is good news. I would expect that they're supposed to be incentivizing, encouraging our people who have the ability to come back. But no, that's where we are.
Okay, well, folks, you're just following us. We're in conversation here with Leo. Sekou, welcome to the show. How are you this morning or this afternoon? This afternoon here in Phoenix, Arizona. What say you? What's going on? Welcome to.
I'm doing good. I'm just here enjoying the conversation. The only problem I have with Leo, he's drinking while I'm fasting. And I'm
Hey,
just
God, I would like to say again.
more water and stuff like that. I said, my man, what's going on, man? What's your problem? But other than that, I'm enjoying the conversation.
I will pay the fine.
I like that.
I will have to pay the fine.
Yeah, they may have to pay that fine, man. But anyway.
So quickly, to you, Leo, let me say thank you. Steve and Seku, Virginia Mark, I just want to announce that we will continue with the show up to the time. That means there's no news bulletin. So thank you so much. That just bit information I have for you. And I don't know, but Seku, you not different. Have you started training or you suspend all the activities?
Remember, you can see me, man. The training can stop. The only person I'm trying to recruit now to the training is Steve.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Steve don't train, he can only eat.
No, we the people we train in December. We train once a year in December. Like that.
So thank God that Steve Seku is here. Our prisoner mom and that is Steve. Let me be frank. She didn't do us right. Today is Good Friday, right? And we have so many things to talk about. Even though I join you a little bit late, Leo, all of your conversation that was so magnificent and everything. But today is Good Friday, and I know that there are a lot of believers in laughing and you don't know already because there are a lot of believers. So we will know how the betrayers because Leo is also complaining that in fact he been contacting the government back to back and there are no answer and so forth. But he also praying that indeed the government should come to his aid on the kind of issue that he's discussing, and that would be good. But today is Good Friday, so I want Steve to ask Leo as to what make of this date or got betrayal, all of the hard work, everything that is ongoing.
My man will bring you in. Will bring you in later on to ask Leo.
Yeah.
But right now, you can late. We discussed about that whole betrayal thing and stuff. We discussed it earlier on. You can, but we'll revisit it tomorrow or Sunday. We won't revisit when Jesus wake up from the grave. So yeah, but let's go with Leo today about Leo. I want to ask you this question because
but you know what? You asked me, you welcome me, and I
Say, y'all
maybe just cut me off.
Sorry, say goodbye to you, please. Sorry.
Just let me just watch it. Let me just watch it. When you feel all your teenage there, then we'll come talk something.
No, talk.
Okay, yeah, thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you to Leo and my Oma. Somebody said the other day, Oma on the show, Seku, don't call her Oma, call her name. You're spoiling the show. I say I will call my Oma anytime, even on CNN. What's wrong with that? We are Liberian. We're all going to be Liberian regardless. So you take away all those teenagers that actually can that makes all Liberians, then we will have a problem. Yeah. So Leo, I'm very proud of you and the team and everybody that is actually working with you. And I would say the sky should be the limit. I mean, because this kind of endeavor is not like, horrible thing. It takes time. Can you imagine? And the difference between when I say we Black people, especially Liberians and other people, and the reason why the United States and other developed nation or developing nation are moving forward because of the long-term planning. We like quick fix. We want to get quick money. We don't plan. We feel like, wow, that's too long, man. It will take forever. What time am I going to finish the thing here? 2, 3, 4, 5. You're talking about 6, 7 years? Some people will not even try. A lot of people want quick fix. We want to start it today and just get it tomorrow. Then, because you don't even know, what's going to happen in the next 2, 3 years. But to have the patience, the resilience to actually start a project from 10,000, I've been watching and listening from the back, from 10,000 to 2 million. It means a lot. So I want to say kudos to you. I want to encourage you to continue doing what you're doing, and I wish you all the best. And I wish, the project, the organization, the institution that you are a part of, or maybe you are leading, I want to wish you guys all the best. And I hope Liberian people will embrace this worthy initiative, and I hope Liberian government. Speaking of you guys paying money to free the team from Freeport, do you know how many cars, building materials, and other things are entering that country for free through these guys that are senators and House of Representatives? They have duty free up to certain amount in a year. Even 2 or 3 of them can help you, your organization, get everything in for free. At no cost to them and no cost to you. And no cost to the Liberian government, because those are part of their incentives. But you know what they do with it? They sell it to people. They say, I want to bring something in right now. Somebody will say, Seku, if you get 10 continue or this and that, blah, 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 how much you going to spend to put it in? Let's assume, I say, oh, yeah, I'm going to spend more like 50,000. Okay, you know what? You give me 30,000, 25,000. I'll put everything under my name. That's how they be using those opportunities. Can you imagine? That's what they have been doing. They will say, okay, you give me 25,000. At least you now, the business person, you say now, well, I'm going to pay 50,000 and they tell me to pay 25,000. It's like I'm getting this thing free, or half of what I'm supposed to pay. So you feel like they are doing you good. Instead of helping you, helping the country, what they will do, they will take the money from you, put it in their pocket, and then register with the government as their own property, their own thing that they are inputting into the country, because they were given the opportunity to have a duty free. So they should even be helping you to bring those things, and it should be embracing this idea. And I think the president should pay attention to this. And by the way, I can guarantee you, after this appearance, you might hear from some people, because they follow SKTV religiously. They listen to Truth FM. And we've been some of the most, critical people on the government. So they pay attention to what we say here, what happens here. They do. And which is not a bad thing.
No.
Everybody can be, in the bandwagon singing for the government of, we did it to Joia government. They were paying attention on a daily basis. And now, Joseph Boga government is also paying attention. So every issue that we, bring up here, it kind of draws their attention. Hopefully, they will pay attention to you guys and help. I mean, this is like not helping you, but helping themselves, helping the country. I mean, having this kind of initiative under your leadership, under your presidency, Joseph Boga should be proud of himself. Maybe somebody will be afraid to even take this thing when the country is not safe, when the country is not stable, when the justice system is so corrupt. People should even be afraid to carry on these kinds of initiative in Liberia, because you feel like, how safe am I? How safe is going to be the project? The people that trusted me to invest millions of dollars, $2 million, that's more money. How are they going to be safe going to Liberia? So you take all that risk going to Liberia. I'm telling you, my brother, I'm proud of you. And I hope you guys will get the best out of that place. And I hope Liberian people will benefit from it. And I hope Liberian people are ready to welcome this great initiative with open arms, open heart. And Liberian government is also ready to chip in. Not just to allow you to do the free, but to put in money to help you facilitate the process and make it smooth and progressive.
Thank you, Mr. Kane. Mr. Kane, do you have any question to follow up with you on this conversation? Because
no, I don't have a question. I'm just enjoying.
We're still touching.
For me, I got a comment because what Leo says is not cringe.
Yeah, please go ahead, Mom, please.
You know, Liberia is just a sick country. Sorry to say. Let me tell you something. Are you aware that our lawmaker summoned the LRA boss because he was trying to get rid of their 2 cars or duty-free incentive recently? It was published in the front page Africa as well. Can you imagine a man who's trying to invest into the country's future for children specifically? Talking about a learning center, not only a library, but other great initiatives, whether it's business empowerment and all that, and writing grant and empowering business. And they would not even give him no tax incentive. But the reason I said there's not screen, I remember I was a kid I brought during the 90s. There was an organization after the war that brought an entire ship or container with torch. I don't know if any of you guys can remember in the 90s in Liberia. I don't know if it was between the Sawyer town or just after the war, going to the Taylor town, right? In the 90s, I would say maybe May 90. Do you know what happened in Liberia? People bringing a torch for children for Christmas present, free of charge. They charge at the port to pay custom duty. You know what ended up happening to that ship? They diverted it to Tanzania.
Yeah.
Just because our corrupt officials in Liberia were demanding. Can you imagine somebody buy their own, bring torch for your own children in the country to give it to them free of charge, and you want to tax them at the port? The people end up diverting that ship straight to Tanzania. I can remember. I will find that story. I think it was in the Torchlight newspaper at the time. They had some newspaper back then. One of my homeboy, he got a whole archive of the old newspaper, and that story was one of them. I said, like, wow. So while Leo is saying it's nothing new, it's nothing strange, that's Liberia for you. But we hope a cooler hair will prevail, and somebody could, after listening to this particular broadcast, somebody could make some calls. Maybe, and I guess Leo, the president, attended the opening ceremony, right?
The president received the symbolic key to the learning center.
Can you imagine? Yeah, he was there. He attended. Yeah. So, and they always giving information from SKTV. So we are hoping that they can extend the message that somebody got to intervene in this whole issue concerning the duty free and you paying taxes when you are investing more into the country.
Yeah. So Steve, I didn't have a question, but because of what Among just said. So Leo, do you guys still have some stuff at the port right now that's supposed to be free?
Yes, so Sekuto, let me just say this to you. No, right now, no, we finally freed we were able to free the windows and the doors and everything. So they're being
installed. You pay?
Yeah, we had to pay for it. And by the way, the company that building the project also is a Liberian company, BJ Innes. Steve knows BJ Innes very well.
Wow, so that's a win-win.
So everything is Liberian, from the construction to everything. All Liberians. We have no non-Liberian company engaged, from plumbers to bricklayers to electricians. In fact, the solar company that's building the solar station is a Liberian company, Excel Tech. Because I was careful to make sure where we had gaps with Liberian companies, we have a Canadian engineering firm that is serving as their mentors. So we work with them to fill in areas that they have gaps. But to just say one thing, we're about to send probably the biggest shipment, because the vehicles for the centers are being purchased. The laptops, hundreds of laptops are being purchased. All of that will be shipped. We're not even finished. This building is just the main building. We'll be starting on the next building, which is the Sports and Recreation Center that will be joining this particular building. And then the third phase will be the renovation of the Pingsville City Hall, because it makes sense to have 2 brand new buildings. And then you got the ASOR that will be the City Hall. So we'll be redoing the Pingsville City Hall so that when you walk on the compound, everything on the compound then makes sense. So I'm just saying, this is not a one-off, one-year project. So imagine if we're paying over the years for all these things that we have. And with the Learning Center, because we have a partnership with the public library here, they will always be sending us materials, newer books, newer versions of things that will be coming in. I'm raising this, we're using duty-free as an example, but I'm hoping our government doesn't think that they need to sit down for people to chase them. Because one of the things I've committed myself to is I will not chase any government when we cannot make the process, clear and transparent. Because, and not just for Leo, there are many other Liberians out there coming to Liberia trying to do it. Can we establish a clear process so people know that when you're doing this type of stuff, there's a way you can verify it and the government can be able to support you to make it happen.
Okay. Well, Leo, as you are speaking, questions are coming up, and I think Sekou or Monk, whenever they feel the need to, they can ask the questions. But I wanted to go back to this whole idea of, the duty-free and so forth, Leo. I know people in the West have donated maybe majority or almost all of the money or so forth. How do you think Liberians back home and Liberians in the diaspora can contribute to this effort, to sustain this effort?
Yeah. No, this is amazing, Steve. And in fact, one person who I've recently said to people is people who say Liberians don't support. I think it's a myth. I think what has happened in the past is that we haven't done the credible work for Liberians to put their money in. Because you don't expect people to take the high-end money, they give it to you because you say you're doing something great. So I'll give you an example. 2 years ago, I tested this theory. We decided to host a fundraiser in Liberia for the project at the Royal Hotel. Our goal was to raise 50,000 United States dollars. We raised 59,000 USD in one night, all Liberians. There was no foreign money in there. At Royal Hotel, 59,000 United States dollars in one day, from $20 from taxi drivers straight up to $1,000, $1,500. So let me put it this way. We have the website. I will share the link with you, Steve. You can go straight to the website and donate. If you live in the United States, in fact, you get tax receipt because we are also approved under the IRS. You get 65% of your donation back at the end of the year when you go to do your taxes. If you live in Liberia also, we have our local crew there. You can contact the Painesville City Corporation directly. Amma Harris information will be there. If you're in the local area, we have a bank account set up in Liberia that you can go to the bank directly and be able to contribute, or even inbox me. Those of you who are online, you can inbox me directly if you want to learn how you could actually donate. If you have a credit card or a debit card, you can go straight to our website. You donate directly. Your receipt will be automatically emailed to you at the end of the year. You receive a copy of our audited financial report. All of it. You'll be able to see exactly what goes on. We see all this. So yes, in fact, it breaks my heart, Steve, thank you for raising this point, that we have people from Canada, the United States, who've never been to Liberia, got no connection to Liberia, white people. 90% of this money has been raised by them. Nothing wrong with it. They say there is no shame in not knowing. The real shame is when there is an opportunity to know and you refuse to know. That's the real shame. So we are coming public now to say to Liberians, it's not about the size of your donation, whether that's $10 or $20. It's about the intentional act. Because $10 may be small money to somebody in America, but in Liberia, $10 could be very significant to someone. So it's about that intentional act to say, let's start diverting our resources to the things that we always say are important. When somebody right now to raise money for a political rally at Capitol building, people send cash out. People do GoFundMe. We see it. We come, we say, let's build a learning center for our children for hundreds of years that we benefit them. Everybody say, oh, Leo, God will bless your house. Leo, your dream will come true. Oh, Leo, the Lord will be on your side. I can get so now 1,000 comments. And so now I can just laugh. I say, I wonder if each of these comments were giving $5. Each of these comments, if they're donating $5. But again, it's not a criticism. I think we need to help educate our people as to how they can all contribute to something like this.
Thank you, Leo. Let me push this other question to you. Opening it up in December, like you said, December 6th. Congratulations. What is the plan in sustaining this, especially with the question or the concern of Liberians, the country itself, no stable electricity. It costs to run it. So I want to get a clear picture. Is the $2 million allocated or that was raised, or just to build it and set it there and get everything there fine? How do you guys intend to sustain, maintain, and run this center?
So in the budget that we just named to you, the first 3 years of operation is included in that budget. And here's why. We've built in different revenue generating streams. Like I told you, we want to be the official bookstore in the Republic of Liberia. Anybody wanting to buy any educational literature or whatever, we will be the place you go to. We're also building a state-of-the-art desktop publishing facility in the space. You can print anything from your small brochure to your big billboard. Our dream is to make sure Liberian ballot papers are printed in Liberia. We can't be sending ballot paper to Ghana to be printed. It's a simple setup with the proper security system. In fact, our ballot paper is not even sophisticated. It's a simple graphic design that a 9th grade student can do. It's nothing sophisticated. And that's not going to complicate that thing with different security codes being better in it. So why are we taking it to Ghana? We can set up the capacity to do it right in Liberia. Number 3, we are looking at putting in tier membership, right, Steve, like we do here. Let's just see whether goes to Liberia and takes a premium membership. With his premium membership, he can take a laptop from the space that have Microsoft Office, from Word to PowerPoint, Excel, everything on it, or PowerPoint. He can have his PDF, everything on it. He can take it home because he has premium membership that he's paying for, and work with it for a period of time, borrow it, and bring it back. You can get a second membership where you get access to the space, but you can take the laptop from there. Your membership will reach a level that you can take the laptop to your house, so you can work in the space with your laptop. You can book a meeting space there. If you have to meet with somebody and you need a really decent space with a room that have PowerPoint, overhead projectors, and all that kind of stuff that can drop down, we have it there for you. Beyond that, also the small business incubation space. If we got 20 businesses in there paying $500 a month, for example, no one person feels the burnt, right? But when all 20 come together, you also feel it. So the first 3 years of operation funds is already there so that we test out these revenue generating streams to see what type of revenue we actually generate. We'll also have a little cafe. We'll have the state-of-the-art indoor sports and recreation facility that can do events, big sports events. We want to be able to do some of the largest sports events outside of beyond SKD and ATS there, right in the city. So even just rental of those facilities. Those are the revenue generating streams beyond fundraising that we've put into place. So 3 years will give us enough of a buffer to test it out, because on that, easier said than done when you read it on paper, to see what really works in actuality. So Steve can stay in America and buy a premium membership for his little niece in Liberia who's in school and need access to the facility. Sekou can stay right here, go on our website with a credit card and pay for 1 year membership for a young person that he's trying to actually support to have access to the facility. So people in the diaspora, when you're traveling and you're taking your child with you, or your niece or your nephew or young child that you wanted to be engaged in something educational, you can buy a membership. While you are there, your child can have access to the facility. Maybe it's that school time. Maybe they're bringing their schoolwork with them. They need a space to actually do it. So these are all ideas that we will be rolling out in terms of revenue generation, and then we will see which ones really pick up steam.
Okay. So does it also include? Would that also mean, if I'm in a university and I want to do my homework and they give the long homework and the teacher then can set it, for example, I'm not saying that what happening. But for example, the teacher then can set the pamphlet, but they also going to question the teacher and when design the pamphlet so that they can be able to collect small things. That means you're coming close to the teacher and eating more too. Because
we will get you the whole book. And I got a book. We might even provide some video with professors from Harvard and other places explaining the thing for you in simple terms, so that the thing and I tell you, you will even learn beyond what it. In fact, your paper might even give the teacher more than they ask for. Because when I just get you the chapter of the pamphlet, you'll get a whole book and you might actually get video. Look, just in what we are doing right now, what we are curating, professors from MIT, some of the best you can think about, taking this concept now and providing that kind of data for free. So if you're somebody who not let it reading bene, because you don't do the reading bene plenty, you can do a video version of these. Most of these books now do have audio version. You can actually do the audio version of the book, finish your assignment. Let me see when the professor fail you. Then you can bring them to the learning center and show them what the actual books say versus what they're actually saying.
Okay, well, that thing looking like that play now, that would not be easy. So about Leo, let me ask this question. Is this center going to be when are you guys turning over this center to the Liberian government to be ran? Because you said there's 3 years period where things have already been allocated.
Yeah.
And how would the Liberian government be held accountable to ensure that this is used for the general public as opposed to commercial other people benefiting? Because we just heard about the ferry that Joseph Boaga the president donated a few years ago, right?
Yeah.
Now we're hearing noise behind that ferry that other people are using it to benefit themselves as opposed to what it was donated for. So if you guys donate this place to the Liberian government or give it up, what measure you guys have in place to ensure that the government is doing the right thing?
Just about to ask that question.
This is a beautiful question. So the short answer, and then I'll give you the background, is that we're not turning it over to the Liberian government, first of all. So let me give you the explanation to why. When we were doing this project, when I went to Liberia, everybody was willing to offer me land, and private land to do it also. I made a conscious decision and said, no, this is for the public. We came here to Canada and made a commitment to people that we were building something for the public. I go put it in some kind of private land, right? Like get my name on the D or somebody name on the D. Come a bit tomorrow, I hear me, I die. Then my family people take it because of their inheritance. And when you go to court, they will show that the land I own, that the people land. And you can't root out the baby from the land and carry it somewhere else, right? Problem start. Empowerment Square, the organization building this, is not my personal entity. I founded it, right? I'm the founder. But when you set up an organization, no individual can own an organization. I'm an employee of the organization. If I don't do my job properly, the board of the organization can fire me, even though I founded it, right? That's how you set up organizations properly. And not private business. When you set up your for-profit business, and that one you can own it. You own it. Non-profits cannot be owned by an individual. It's a public institution because you solicit money from the public. Why people can open foundations. You can own your foundation because the only way you can own it if you are putting all the money in it. So wealthy people usually sell up into the Bill Gates Foundation. Gates pour all his money into that foundation. So Bill Gates own that foundation. But when you run a non-profit, it's a public entity. You cannot own it. So that means when I went to Liberia, I said to the Painesville City Corporation, we want a partnership. And I want public property. They took me to ERW Junction, to Uminga, all kinds of places. I said, Lord, I know the country here. The moment you start bidding, somebody will show up with 1930 deed and tell you, say, their great-great-great-great-grandpa used to own the land, and then the city get it. I said, the land where I know for sure that owned by the city, the one in front of Painesville City Hall there. That one, nobody now lay claim on it before ever. So I told them, that's what we'll do. When people Firestone did the same thing. We'll sign a land lease agreement that gives us the space for 99 years or for as long as the building is viable and running for this purpose. They say they own the land. We don't own it, but we own the asset on the land explicitly used for the benefit of the citizens of Painesville and the Republic of Liberia. So the day Empowerment Square decide to no longer use that building, as a learning center, and they want to turn it into their late commercial hub, the city seizes it. The government sees it defaults to the government because the agreement says it has to be explicitly used for that. So we signed the agreement, we took it to the Supreme Court, we probated it to the courts. That agreement has been signed. So Empowerment Squared, in collaboration with McMaster University and its partners, will continue to run the facility for as long as it is used for that purpose. Painesville City Corporation and government will have oversight to make sure we're doing the thing that we say we'll do. If we say we'll provide library services, we turn the library service into having party to the play, Painesville City and the government can step in. So no, we're not turning it over to the government. This is what you call true public-private partnership. The government does not have the capacity to manage this, so it would be an injustice to all of these donors who gave it. In fact, this is how donors could be convinced to put in their money because they were convinced that we will maintain the running of the facility, making sure it serves its purpose.
Wow. Well, so let me come in, Steve. Let me come in 1 second, please. Yeah, go ahead. I think you're
I just wanted to ask a part of the question, and then
go ahead.
We'll get into the politics of the day, because Leo will also, unfortunately, he said it was okay for to get into the politics of the day, because all of the things we're talking at the end of the day box and the politics, right? But Leo, that means I can sit all the way in Ban Nima Kante and not be in Painesville and still get a book that I want to be able to do my homework that the University of Prince Johnson gave me.
As long as you got internet and you got a membership, absolutely. And we'll also have corporate group membership, right? So let's say Tottenham University or Prince Johnson University can take a corporate membership that allows the institution and the students with verifiable numbers. So once you do that, all of your students will be issued verifiable numbers. So that anyway, in the same way, Steve, when you sign into your school website or library, they can ask you for that number. That serial number. When you enter it inside, by the time you hit click, the thing will open. If you don't you try to sign, they'll tell you to subscribe, you must pay, blah, 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 blah. So it will be the same thing. So as long as you got membership, absolutely. And eventually our goal is that, to be honest, that this can serve as the foundation for starting a national public library system for the Republic of Liberia. That is my real dream. So that this goes across the country, but they are all interconnected to each other.
Okay. Yeah, Mo, go ahead. Then we'll switch to the politics.
Well, I just wanted to remind our viewing audience from the US and around the world. Today is Friday, and our tradition on SKTV. I know most of you told Leo that God should be with him, and God doesn't build libraries. God doesn't run radio station. He doesn't buy data. He doesn't pay our foot soldiers on the ground. So once again, we are making our urgent plea to the listeners and viewers of SKTV that today is Friday, and you know what we do here on every Friday of the week. So I'm just reminding. I will make 2 reminders, and we got a target today again. We're going for our usual 20 for 30. But because it's Good Friday, we raise it up to 40. 20 for 40. So we'll be expecting some kind of a donation from at least 40 of our regular listening audience on the show. And once again, Mr. Leah, thanks for showing up. But I know they can tell you God should build you, but God will not build SKT because God doesn't buy data. He doesn't run a radio station. We
But
need
God,
funds.
but God already with you that the reason why God gave you the energy.
But Mabel know that God doesn't buy data.
That's where our coming. That's where our coming. That's where our coming.
Let me,
yes.
Monk, thank you. But let me make another quick announcement here. This is just a recognition to tell you that we are live on not only on SKTV, on Facebook, but we are on YouTube, we are on Instagram, we are on Twitter, we are on pretty much all the social media platforms. And with that said, we also want to let you know that we are on 2 radio stations. Our usual radio station, that is the Truth FM 96.1. And also now we have a new partnership on Radio Forma in Bon County. So so I just wanted to let you know that we are live in the entire country. And like Monk said, we appreciate everybody, supporting SKTV. These things are not just easy. And the sacrifices, being made by all these people are enormous. So we appreciate our people supporting SKTV like they have been doing every Friday. It goes a long way. Sometimes you don't even know. You think $20, like you say, you think $20 not anything, or $10 not anything, but it's a big deal back down in Labrador and anywhere else. And the fact that you can take from your heart and sweat to donate, it must be appreciated. So I just wanted to add that to let Leo know that you're having conversation with Steve and Mong and Sekou, but you are having this conversation with the entire country or the world at large.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kane. Milbo, I know
so,
again.
Yes. Quickly, I beg you, Steve, Bisena Mong, and Sekou, you have to give me 1 minute because to what Leo been saying, some of us, we are the direct beneficiary. In fact, I was somewhere around the Pinsville city, or in fact, at the project site. Let me be frank, I don't know exactly that. In fact, Leo, I don't know whether he's one of the executive of the entire project, but to admit, and I'm just so surprised because that project is just so magnificent, and I'm just a bit confused because, mind you, there are a lot of things happening. There, for example, there are some structure when it's, maybe when or maybe build somewhere. Let me just make it simple. When that structure is somewhere, people go there just because of that structure. So some of us quite recently I went for a wedding and I saw that building. They just talk about everything I just listed. Indeed, is in tight. Let me be frank. But people keep thinking about, oh, okay, this building, thank God for the PCC, and just make everything easy, and you just explain everything to us. So that means Liberians out there who are listening to us, they will not believe that indeed, because anyway, there is some post also that out there that talk about what you just explained. So I'm very confused about, because sometimes when people enter into the compound or the fence, sometimes they want to go and maybe take photos. They want to see the beautiful structure. They want to ask questions. Sometimes people don't easily, follow someone in signpost or the sambo, I would say, commonly right there in Liberia. So what are some of the things that you people are putting in, into, or maybe explaining out, out there to the people, like the way today you are explaining to so many things, or you explain to us about something happening. So I don't know about whether you people have a project of information coming out to the public, because mind you, if the public, when they are not informed, sometimes they take the information the way they think, the way they think, and the way they go about with it.
Yeah, that's an important question. But here's what I'll always say. Liberians, we have a very interesting way of navigating to chichipuli and gossips rather than real information. And I'm very serious. I live in Canada. There are people in Canada who believe that this project is being built on the land that I bought for my mother near my mom's house, and right beside the place my mom's house is. Even though to verify where the project is, it's an easy matter. You know, in our up interior, you need to take out to go up interior to look for it. There are people here who believe that the project, how they say building project, no project exists. Or if somebody went on Facebook on my page to comment that this is all fake, it's false, it does not exist. But let me say this to you, my brother. Since this project has started, Steve here, he will actually tell you, one of the things we've done consistently has been to provide information. Whether it's me going live, every time we visit Liberia, when we come back, we make an elaborate, just go on Facebook, put Empowerment Square and follow. We do an elaborate report. We report out on the project from the foundation to the groundbreaking to the stage. But what I would say is thank God to things like SKTV, right? Today we are here. Sekou granted us the opportunity to bring us on here to talk about this. So today you are getting your first-hand opportunity to hear what's going on. Then you become that next messenger or ambassador to be able to talk about it. And let me send a shout out to the Pinzo City Corporation. I know many times, you know, since I went to Liberia, I told people I got too much interest in working with national government. It's too convoluted for me. The level of bureaucracy and stuff you got to get through. I think the most effective place I find to work has been the city, municipal government, because you can really get to people and get things done. This project has gone through 3 city mayors, by the way. It started under Mayor Letitia Reeves, it came to Mayor Sivette Gibson, and it came to Mayor Pam Belcher-Taylor. And I would say the Pinzo City Corporation has been excellent in their cooperation, especially the most recent mayor who's just leaving office, Pam Belcher-Taylor. She worked with us hands in hand. She visited Canada almost 3 times, meeting some of our donors. On her own dime, by the way, we didn't spend a penny. We didn't pay her way. We didn't pay for accommodation. Let me say this publicly, because some people see it, when you see it, they think they don't. She paid her own way she got here. She paid her own accommodation when she was here, because she wanted to demonstrate as mayor her seriousness to this project. Now, you can disagree with her politics. I'm not here to argue for people politics. I'm here to tell you what they did in terms of the execution of this project. So Pinzo City Corporation, big hats off. And the mayor who just took over, Mayor Robert Bestman, has also pledged his unwavering support to continue in that same vein of making sure this project will be an example. So to answer your question, my brother, this has been a true collaboration. We went through Madam Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf, we went through President Joe Weah, and now we get President Boakai. So I'm just trying to show you the navigation that we've been doing to get through all of this. And lastly, 3 key things I will tell you. People just see the building, Steve. The building is designed to be able to survive with no electricity from any outside source. The first source of electricity for the building is solar, not just solar panels. We've built a mini solar station that can store the power, because you got so much sunshine in Liberia. And not like, yeah, when you generate too much solar, the government can buy it from you and put it in the grid. And you know, yeah, when you get too much solar, you make money out of it. There, we don't have it. So we built a mini solar station that when we generate more power than we need, we can store it in battery cells. So let's say the solar give up. We could have power up to run for 2-3 weeks at a time without needing any outside source. The second source will be our LEC. The day it can, we'll switch to it. The day not there, we got continuous power from the solar. And the last option would be the diesel generator. So the building will never go off. That's the goal. That under no circumstances this building should go up. The second piece is the water collection system. You saw the slanting of the roof, right? It's designed to collect the rainwater and send it underground to a 100,000 gallon tanker. And then the system pumps it back up to be used in the building. Again, without any external source, the goal is that the building will be self-sufficient. In addition to the rainwater, we're building a well that would be a reservoir tanker standby that feeds into the underground water system. So let's say we get rain for 1 week, and you know, it's not raining. Then the well will start to pump water into the tanker storage. It's underground. That ugly thing we're doing, like, bro, be fine. Also put big tanker away, blah tanker away. And it's a health hazard. It don't make sense. It can fall down anytime. So instead, it's underground, it's pumped up, and it's run into the building. And then we built a thing at the biggest mall in Liberia, Steve. The dirt from under your ground, under right there. It's environmentally friendly. We don't get to use the concrete jungle. You know, the first time I told the Canadian engineers at Liberia, you know, they got into me. We went to Capitol Building Executive Mansion, and the man was shocked. I said, what? They said, what do you people build with? This is a concrete jungle, I had to call it. I said, why? They said the reason we use concrete a lot in North America is because concrete is a good holder of heat. And because of our climatic condition in North America, concrete makes sense because we want it to hold heat. What he's saying in this place where you get 30, 35 degrees sunshine, all you're doing is you are just generating more heat. The moment he said, turn the air conditioner off, give it 3 to 5 minutes, the place will get hot as if air conditioner were not on. So that's when they started researching the earth compressed bricks. And the company that we got that making the bricks is a Liberian company, Kingdom Earth Bread Builders too. They are installing it. They are making it. Guess what it does? When you cool the room, Steve, and turn off the air conditioner, it holds the same temperature for up to 4-5 hours. That you don't need anything turned on the air conditioner. The building is already cool as we speak without it being enclosed. When you walk inside from outside, the temperature inside is cooler than the temperature outside.
Wow. Okay. Well, that seems like you guys are on the right track. Leo, let's transition really quick. And if anyone has another question, they can ask you. But let's transition for the last maybe 30 minutes or 20 minutes into the Liberian politics or the Liberian conversation, national conversation. Leo, let me hit the ground running. I know Sekou will take over this segment because I'm in the department there. but Leo, you can tell me chilling. Once I come to the politics, then I say we gotta take it over. So Leo, here's the issue. I'm not sure if you saw the budget most recently. I want to ask you one question, but there'll be two parts of it. What do you make of the budget, first of all? Because according to you, you've been able to raise 2 million, so you were in raising money, generating revenue, and basically using it, appropriating it. I mean, in other words. That's the first part. What do you make of the budget that was submitted? Secondly, do you have any hope? Would you welcome maybe this particular project that you guys started after 3 years if the Liberian government decides to incorporate the fundings or budget allocation for this particular project into the national budget? What say you? You're muted. You're muted. We can hear you.
I will start with the last question and then come back to the complicated one. When I spare me with your politics, I will start with the last question. First of all, it will be a shame and it will be distasteful if the Liberian government does not incorporate this into its budgetary allocation. I'll tell you why. One thing for people to come to your aid when you call them up, right? And it's one thing to stand up and applaud them and be happy for what they give you. Let me put it this way, Steve. If you told me, Steve, you need to get a job, but you can't get a job because you don't got transportation to pay the job and you need to drive to it. I said, okay, my man, Steve, you know what? I'll get you someone to live 5G to Barcelona and winter beat up. And nothing fancy. Just something to get you from A to a B. I gave Steve the car. Steve got a job because the car Steve can get to work and buy. But Steve decided you're not changing the car oil. You're not a business. That means so you can change the car oil for him. Steve decided when you're not changing the car tire, when the car tire is worn out, that means so you can change it for him. Steve decided you're not cleaning inside the car can be dirty or whatever. They're not a business. Let me bring it down to common sense. People have come to your country taking your agenda, right? People say education is a serious problem in Liberia. And let me say so. All the governments have said so. Okay. We came here, we talked to partners who have been willing to come in and say, okay, let's support this agenda. They've delivered. And if nobody is thinking from the government side, it's okay, you know what? How can we make this sustainable? How? And sometimes it's just about the signal you send to people. Let's say Steve, he ain't got money to change his car oil. But when I look, Steve, you're putting $5 when the oil change tanking, Steve, when they got $30, but to change your oil at $50. If Steve calls me and say, my man, Leo, I know it's not easy. I just started work. I've been saving small money to change. Ali, I got $30. I didn't read $50. Trust me, I will feel so good to give Steve that extra $20 because I know Steve is on the right track to get to the point that he understands the importance of maintaining the car. That he took a little bit from his salary to be saving it so that the day he get the money, he will understand the value of having a car. So I'm hoping the Liberian government listens, in my opinion, and see this as an opportunity for them to send a signal to our partners to do even more, because this will send a direct message. Number two, your question about the budget. I will give you this analysis. My first observation about the budget is that when I look through everything, everybody's in the Liberian government seems to know how to spend money, but nobody knows how to raise it. Now, my first observation. You can have an equation where everybody can explain to you how to spend the money, but you're not seeing on the other side where people can explain to you how to actually raise it, right? Look at it this way, Steve. Where we are as a country, there should be no Liberian government entity that cannot leverage revenue generation. None. Name me any ministry here today, I will tell you how they can leverage revenue generation. You got $500 million budget, Steve. The university I work for, they got 36,000 students. Their budget is $727 million for 36,000 students in their campus. It's voodoo economics for anybody to think Liberia can get better with $500 million, even with $690 million budget. That's voodoo economics. It makes no sense because that is the price of a properly built small hospital with all the equipment and everything inside it. So how can we fix healthcare, fix education, fix the military, fix the police with $690 million? That's voodoo economics. Until anybody can tell me how in year 1 or year 2, the first 2 years, you can take it to 1 billion. And then maybe in year 3 and year 4, you can take it to 1.5 billion. Then you are having a conversation. So the second thing that I observe is that we are fascinated with maintaining our big jobs and our fat salaries and our nice cars and our nice cities. Liberian government, why since the wartime we implemented a measure when the budget was 80 million, we implemented a measure to give people scratch card, to get in gas slip, because the budget was 80 million. So some of them were not even taking pay at the time. It made sense, right? It's like when you volunteering, Steve, and the people can make sure you spend your own money for anything because you're volunteering your time. We've moved. Where in the world the people get you room to sleep, they get you bed, they get you pillow, and they say them and find you woman? Why are we still giving government official scratch cards? Why are we still giving government official gas coupons? Why are we still buying cars for any government official in the Republic of Liberia? I would have hoped President Bouaka, for 100 days, he did nothing, was to cancel all gas coupons, cancel all government buying cars for government officials. Because you know what? We pay you your salary. Steve, when you go look for Joya, they hire you. They can tell you, Steve can't collect your car.
Nope.
But they can ask you on the job interview, can you guarantee that you have a reliable transport to make it to work? Now, what they ask you to the job interview, that you must guarantee that you have a reliable form of transport, whether that's public transport, whether that's your private car. And this is the reason why we're not fixing the public transit system, because the government buying everybody car. So, in my opinion, the government should only be buying utility vehicles for the ministries. If you okay driving a little papi solo that in a ministry for running around, then take it. That's fine. You can take it. You can't work. You use it. But we can't be buying luxury cars to appease our lawmakers are spending over $4 million every 2 to 3 years to replace their $40,000 cars. That alone can start a public transit system for the country. RIA, the only airport in the world that does not have a secure public transportation system. The only airport in the whole world that when you arrive at RIA, you're not arranged for somebody to pick you or you on your own when you get outside. You can't just jump in a taxi and you can't call Uber. You can do nothing unless you pre-arrange and for some kind of arrangement to take you from the airport. So my observation about the budget, I wouldn't even go into the details. The letdown for me is nobody has still, since Ellen Johnson said he took the budget from $80 million to $500 million, nobody has demonstrated the seriousness that is required to generate the revenue that is required. So you can turn that budget inside, people making noise, some more money sort of go to agriculture. You add $2 million to agriculture. To do what? What is $2 million going to do agriculture in Liberia? Let's be honest. So you can turn it inside, do the math all kinds of ways. Unless you're doing voodoo economics, the budget will not make sense.
Thank you, Leo. I'll turn it. Sekou, it's up to you. I'll turn it over to you.
Well, I don't know why you turn it over to me. You should have turned it over to Monk or Mabel or maybe Lawrence, but no problem. I will hold it. So on the issue of the budget, when the budget came up, Senator Dillon went and cherry-picked and took some things from the budget, making it to look like Joseph Bouaka is starting on a good footing, budgetary-wise. But then only to find out that, in fact, the budget, they say they cut the budget here, they cut the budget there, they cut the budget here, they cut the budget there. But then they put that money in some area where they can go and get it back. For example, they say they cut the budget for the president, the days for that, this $1 million, that $1 million. But then the Ministry of Finance, they increased the budget to 68% from $100 and change to $168 to $70 million. And the NSA, they did increase the budget for the NSA because they want to put the money there and go and get it later on. Do you think this was intended to fool the Liberian people? Acting like Joseph Boakai is cutting the budget when in fact they are increasing the budget, but trying to fool you while you keep your eyes on the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs, and then the money is somewhere else at the NSA and the Ministry of Finance. You think this is a deception, willful deception, or this was just something that they believe that Liberian people will not catch it? Are you with me, Leo?
And here is it. Willful. I seriously think it's upside down, Sekou, like you said it. I just think it's upside down. More than 75% of this budget is on recurring expenditure.
Almost 91%.
Almost 91%. So that means nobody gives a damn about the Liberian people.
No.
If the Liberian people are only getting 10% or 15% of the budget, where in fact the Liberian people are supposed to be getting at the very least, worst case, 50%. At the very least, worst case scenario. So that means the government is over bloated. Look, I've been watching the appointments that have been made. My people, 5 million people government. What are all these people doing? Come on, like one ministry got 3 assisting, 3 deputy to do what thing? Like it makes absolutely no sense. And that's the reason why we have a problem. As long as we continue to use the Liberian government as the political payback machine for the people then who campaign and run things for us, that is a problem. So I would agree with you that I think it is very misleading for us to take the same budget, manipulate the same numbers, but then somehow convince the people that we are getting more out. Like I said to you, it's not possible. And sometimes I can wonder, is it that people just don't know? Or is it that they are acting intentionally? Or is it the fact that I didn't hear from the government intentionally to say, you know what, first of all, this budget will not cut it. And the amount of money we got for budget right now cannot cut. Well, they put us on their ambitious plans, but the budget does not line up with the plans they've put out. It's completely impossible to achieve those plans that President Boakai has outlined with this budget. So the disconnect for me is I would have loved to hear the government come and say, you know what, the 4 year will be tough because we might not be able to drastically change everything, but we're going to ensure revenue generation increase by 250,000 from the previous government. Because when you do that, what you've done, you've created something called the fiscal space. And Sekou, that extra 250,000 that can go all straight to developmental, projects and initiatives. So you just created fiscal space to drop the percentage of what's going to recurring expenses, because there's a new 250,000 now adding to the other 10% that you get that's going only to developmental activities that benefit the citizenry. And by the way, we got all kinds of low-hanging fruits to raise money from. I can tell you some of it. The whole dual citizenship noise that we're causing, in my opinion, is Liberia's greatest opportunity to have its first stable budgetary allocation from the diaspora to create its first middle and upper class. We got low-hanging fruits, but because we prefer to play the politics to keep ourselves insulated, we would rather not touch them, those opportunities. The nonprofit business. Sekou, you got the proliferation of international nonprofits passing around in Liberia. Nobody knows what the heck they're doing. In Canada here, you must register, and when you're international from out of the country, you pay certain fees. Why are we not setting up a corporation, right? An autonomous agency to manage and be oversight for all these international nonprofits? Some of them, their budget bigger than the government budget. Mm-hmm. They're supposed to pay, because you know what? What the government needs to regulate them, oversee them, make sure they're not abusing our people. Why a nonprofit coming to a country with no policy that says you cannot hire or bring any international staff, anything below your CEO? The only international staff is bringing the country, it has to be your CEO. Or you have to prove to us that the skill you're looking for is non-existent in Liberia. But that's an autonomous agency I'm talking about. Each of the people were paying you $5,000 a year, Sekou, right? You got over 100 international NGOs. Multiply $5,000 by over 100 of them. But multiply the jobs that will be created if you tell them that the only people will accept, because your CEO has to be the visionary who understands it, so we agree. Anything below your CEO has to be a Liberian, or you can prove to us that skill set is not in Liberia. And by the way, you can only hire foreigner for up to 5 years. In 5 years, you must have trained a local Liberian who is capable of doing that job, so that person's contract cannot exceed 5 years in the country. Some of the NGO have been around for 20 years. But again, to answer your question, they're budgeting high. And in the Liberian political arena, when you proffer ideas and suggestions, people think you're bad-mouthing the government or you're against. We are not. We are all trying to help the government, hopefully see some of the idea and try to load inside and see if it makes sense or not.
Thank you, Leo. I think
Sekou, while you update on my cash app, please give me some update.
Oh,
the audience, check the.
Hold on.
Leo propound all these ideas. I mean, we say this thing on Joseph. I mean, for the Joseph Burger.
Yes. So okay, one. Let me see, 1, 2, and then my people here, give me a few seconds. I gotta make sure I get more update. Okay, 3, 4. So I think I have well, I just want to check this out. I have to check the 2 cash app. They got 4 people there, 2 on each of them, and then on Zelle we got 1. So we got 5 people.
You got 5 up to date.
Yeah.
We got 35 more for the day before we end the show today. Today is Good Friday.
Y'all gotta double the numbers.
Yeah, you gotta double the number. Today is Good Friday, folks.
So Leo, I think we have you here another time to discuss politics and to discuss this budget. Liberia, we have to man up and be brave enough to speak truth to power and to educate our people. And this goes beyond one political party. Our system is so polluted that there's no quick fix to it. It's going to take time. But the only way it's going to be fixed until we have the courage to speak truth to power. And for the power that be, have the willing mind to listen, to accommodate opinions, to encourage people that know, as opposed to compensating people for making campaign for you on Facebook. Not because you think Sekou saying good thing about you, then when you become a president or your party wins, then Sekou has to get position. No, that's not how it works. Liberia got a lot of professionals around the world. We have said this before. In Canada, in America, in Europe, even in Liberia. But we are limited in bringing those people on board because they are not part of our political system. They are not part of our political party. They never supported us. So we care more about encouraging our partisan, satisfying our political egos, as opposed to putting the country first. So, Leo, if you were to actually minimize employment, for example, in Liberia, let's go to the Ministry of Internal Affairs. You will see Deputy Minister for Operation, Deputy Minister for Administration, Deputy Minister for Legal Affairs, Deputy Minister for this, Deputy Minister for that. And then you will have Assistant Minister for the same position. Reason for that, they do nothing, but you want to accommodate everybody to get a job so that they can get some money. Thereby increasing the government spending wastefully, with no incentive. And most of those ministries, they have no programs whatsoever that we have some form of revenue generation. In Liberia, when you talk about money, bringing money in, you know where people might can go? Maritime, free port, maritime, free port, and Ministry of Finance.
Yeah, finance.
You don't even know that there's a way that other ministries, every single ministry in Liberia can have some revenue generation, initiative. They can even sponsor themselves in many cases and even give a surplus to the government budget. But our people, we only implore people for campaigning for us doing on Facebook and other social media platforms. So I want to ask you, if you were to actually minimize the government spending, where are some of the areas that you will actually be targeting?
Thank you. The first thing, let me just name some quick examples. You can't have a Ministry of Information and LBS at the same time. You got to decide. Why do you need both? Why do you need LBS separate? Then you need a Ministry of Information separate. To me, it makes sense. You either collapse them into one. Because LBS is almost doing exactly what the Ministry of Information is doing. So why can you not house them into one? Especially if the government has a state-run broadcaster or whatever that is. That is supposed to be a ministry that's built into one rather than having two separate ministries. You got one managing director, you got one, because LBS, unfortunately, what it was supposed to be is not even a revenue generating thing. It doesn't generate revenue for the government budget. In fact, it sucks it up. So why you got two? Number three, most of these ministry we got running around Sekou, no one has updated them since the 1970s and 1990s.
I was just about to say that, Leo, these antiquated bureaucrats.
when people created them those days to certify their friend, when there was no internet, there was no Facebook, some of the ministry were actually created for that reason. So there's supposed to be an entire audit of the Liberian government ministry, an audit that lines up direct value based to the Liberian government functioning and systems. And you weed out all of the ones that are just liability, that are not serving any particular function, but because they've been there since 1979, so we think it's supposed to be that. I just need you one. In fact, let's look at it this way. What developing countries should supposed to do when they're smart? Instead of developing ministry, most of the ministry should be simple agencies. Why are you giving somebody a big political job, minister, and then they're just to pie around? Why are you giving people some of this agriculture? I don't think agriculture should be a political institution. I think agriculture should be an agency where you have an expert who knows how to manage and bring the expertise to bear, rather than a political appointee who there as minister, 3 to 4 political appointees, deputy this, assistant that, all of them get there. When agriculture is supposed to be a place that directly aligns with the country's productivity, it has to be experts. So the reason why we're having problems, because most of the agencies and ministry are set up as political arms. I told somebody the last time, if I was president of Liberia, the major change I will make, we will change the 15 political counties. Why are we having political subdivisions? So that means you set up the counties to only be political machineries. You should have 15 economic subdivisions and not political subdivisions. You go to Lofa. If Lofa is great at agriculture, and let's assume, they used to call it the breadbasket of the country. Your agricultural policies and investment strategies in agriculture should be directed to Lofa predominantly. Right? It's called competitive advantage, because we know it's easier for the Lofa people in economics competitive advantage. We know it's easier for the Lofa people to make beef farm because I want to do real life.
Yes.
We can get them more support, and in fact, investors coming in the country in agriculture, we should direct them there because the productivity yield will go higher. Right? If we go to Cape Man, they can fishing Bennett are their expertise. We direct the country strategy around a fishery sector and to that county. So every county is supposed to have a direct alignment to the country economic spire. So in that way, they all got a direct value incentive. And that's supposed to be political subdivision. What is political subdivision giving us? We need to redefine our country's geography into economic subdivisions, understand the competitive advantages of these various regions, and then direct investments in a way that you can do ROI. Your direct return on investment will be clear. When if Lofa good at agriculture, why am I going to go to Grand Caymon to say we invest in agriculture there too? Now, I'm not saying agriculture activity will not happen in any other country, but I'm saying on the large major investment scales of the country, competitive advantage. That's what countries do. Canada and the US here. Canada got a lot of oil sands. So what the US said to them, we beg you, don't face it to gas because we got the biggest refineries to turn it to gas. So we will make sure your oil is purchased at a certain rate. We will refine the gas, but we'll sell the gas to you at a reduced rate always. So the US has a competitive advantage in producing the gasoline because they already have the setup. It will cost Canada a lot of money to start building its own refineries. But Canada got the oil, they're already mining. So the US know for them to go start their own mining operation. They work with Canada. Canada make the money from exporting the oil to the US. US make the gas and sell it back to Canada at an understandable rate. So everybody profit because the US can make the gas. They have the setup for it. So if you ask me, Sekou, the first thing we need to do, we need to deconstruct the whole structure of the country. The Constitution is corrupt. We need to change the entire Constitution, stop amending. A good governance process cannot come out of a corrupt document. It is impossible. Article 92 of your Constitution say members of the PRC are above the law. No court in the world or in Liberia can take any of them to court. You know what they say in the thing? For overthrowing. They use the word overthrow in our Constitution. For overthrowing a legitimate government, for confiscating people's properties, for carrying out summary execution. They say no action of theirs or anybody that will act on their behalf can ever be questioned in any court of law. That is Article 92 of your Liberian Constitution. Sekou, God forbid, tell me, how can that kind of document give you that what the whole when something go to the Supreme Court, so now when it come out, it can be more confusing to the lawyers before it went there. When it comes from the Supreme Court, it's supposed to be clear, right? When it comes out, the whole country can be confused as if to say, if the lawyers can be confused. I'm not even talking about the ordinary citizens. That the reason why today we got a constitution we print in pamphlet, in English, 10% of the population can access it. 90% of the country is unable to access our constitution because it hasn't been put in mediums. It's not written, it's not audio, there's no audio recording there. It's not in different languages and different dialects for our people to understand it. So how can you hold someone legally liable to a law they don't know? They've never read. Nobody ever explained it to them ever. I'm just giving broad strokes here of the because I like to go to the fundamentals of the problem rather than the surface.
Okay. Monk, you want anything to say? So Monk, we got 5. It was 4, 5. We got 6 now.
Yeah, we stay 5. We're not even halfway there. We're
6.
going.
You got 6. Yeah, we got 6.
Yeah.
6 people.
Our people, please visit the cash out while Leo entertain you with all these brilliant ideas. This is why you come on SKTV. We'll tell you SKTV is not just here for the politics. And you're hearing Leo propound on a lot of issues. Because, Sekou, the reason, I understand how Leo answered that question about this antiquated government agency and all the bureaucracy that does not make any sense. That is not in confirmation with 21st century standard. Let me tell you something, Sekou. Just recently, Sierra Leone, they opened something they call the Office of Innovation. They went and reviewed all their bureaus and their ministries to see which one, because most of them are useless. He just gave the LBS and the other ministry, information ministry. How to you? You got so many platforms in the country. You got so many mediums, the YouTube, the Facebook, the online broadcasting. Like some of these things are antiquated. It only take money from the government. It does not add any value. No incentive to bring revenue. The revenue system is not robust. And Amara even said that too recently, but I don't pay too much attention to him. Because for political reasons, he was there. He controlled 2 portfolios. He was criticizing the budget. But like CDC, even the current administration, it's just a copy and paste. That's what I've been going on since 2007, as I can remember. The only difference is you guys change the figures, but it's the same line by line item. Nothing new, nothing innovative, nothing reflect the will of the Liberian people in addressing these fundamental issues. And Leo said it all here on SKTV. So, but you can, our update is in the 6th. Our people, you need to show up.
It just revised to 7. So
7. Okay, we're getting there little by little.
Yeah.
Okay.
So while we do that, let me ask Lauren. Lauren, do we have time to open the line to see maybe some Liberian want to call in?
People call,
and be part of this conversation.
And Leo is from Bon County too, right? And that's where the radio station is. So
I'm from both. I have half. One of my parents from Lofa, one from Bon. So I nicely situated.
That's good. you just in the middle.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Lawrence, are we good to take some calls or no? I think their internet is giving us hard time today. When really in Liberia,
Yep, the whole
especially that part of the country, the internet can be really, really crazy. Yeah, you are muted. We're not hearing you.
From Lone Star. Yeah, the internet was like giving me a problem how to switch from Lone Star to Orange before I come on the show.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. So yeah, so you think we can take some calls today?
Hello, can you hear? Okay. Yeah, let me see what I can activate the line to see whether we can talk to some people from this part of Liberia, Central Liberia. Leo, what's up?
My man, okay.
The numbers are 07.
Yeah,
Okay, man. Okay. 0775-525-662, 0775-525-262, 086-02-1302, 0775-525-262, 086-02-1302. Those are the numbers you can call this evening and be part of the discussion on SKTV. A lot of things have been said on the radio, especially when it comes to the issue of the Constitution. Leo talking about it because we in Liberia here, especially some of our people who are not acquainted, if you go to court, they will tell you, say, innocent to the law, excuses no man. So the layman in the village that I don't even know what they call innocent. Let me go to the line and take our first caller this evening. Okay, good evening. Your name, where you come from?
Good evening, my name is Uzondu. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Your name?
My name is Uzondu, and I'm calling from Soweto area.
Come again?
My name is Uzondu, and you should know the person who's calling very well. I was calling online, but I just got to call.
Hi, Chief.
I know you Uzondu very well. Yeah.
Actually, I just called to let you know that some of us are listening. We've been listening to you for quite a while, some time now, and we know the sense that you bring to the table. I want to call to let you know that you should continue to speak. He makes a lot of sense. That's all I will have to say today. Leo, continue your good job, my dear brother. You know where we came from. You know how far we're going. Just continue your good job, my dear brother. You're doing a great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you. 0775-525-262. I can take two more calls and go back to our guest, to go back to Chief Sekou there from the US. 0775-525-262, 086-02-1302. Those are the numbers you can call this evening and be part of the show right here on SKTV. We relaying on Radio Forma 99.3 FM here in Bon County, Central Liberia. As I was saying, the Constitution, at least people need to be acquainted with it because there are a lot of people who are not acquainted. So the court will also the court will use that to rattle you, because when you go to court, the president will tell you the law is blind. So 0775 is like we experiencing some network problem here today in this part of Bon County. So
it's okay.
We don't have much color this evening on this.
That's fine. Let's continue the conversation. So Leo, in as much as I want to, discuss politics, but I'm still, thrilled by, how far you guys went with that project. And I know there were a lot of challenges. So you talk about one of the city mayors, that was very helpful in the process, because all traveling all the way to Canada, that kind of cemented some level of trust from those who are non-Liberian. They say, well, this is not just Leo, but at least even supported by the local government. So this is a serious business. And how sure are you, or what do you think about the cooperation and the continuity of the level of support that you got from previous city mayors and local government officials of Plainville? How sure are you that will continue, and for how long you think?
I have to say, I feel very confident. However, again, none of us here can sit down and say, we know for sure life is life. But I had a unique opportunity to meet with the new mayor, the just appointed mayor, Bestman. It's so happy he was appointed while I was in Liberia. So we met, and I was able to introduce, and he has committed his unflinching support. In fact, what I didn't say to you, Sekou, in my work here, we've now managed, as our in Liberia, the news broke, the City Council of Hamilton in Canada, where I live, which is the sixth or seventh largest city in Canada, the City Council voted unanimously as a result of my proposal for the last 3 years I've been working with them to have Pinsville City as their first sister city on the African continent.
Oh, wow.
So the vote was passed unanimously. It's law now in my
city. That's so great.
So we are working right now. I wouldn't announce the date because I'm working with the mayor in Pinsville to prepare for the official signing ceremony that will see our officials travel here to do the official sign, which means the city of Hamilton will now start to look at ways that they can particularly start to support Pinsville in particular areas as a sister city. So again, all I can say is, Sekou, we can hope for the best cooperation.
That's a breaking news, man.
Yeah, so I'm breaking it here.
And we love it. Wow, yeah. That's really good. That's really, really good.
Yeah, so we will do the work. We will continue to ask our leaders to provide the space and the incentive. But that's all we can do, to be honest with you, and we hope that they actually do.
So I'm just trying to update Monk because every night and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, there are somebody who said they just did it on right now on the session as well.
7. Yeah. 10. Now we have about 11 people now. At least we're making progress from 6.
We're getting
from 6 to 11.
Y'all got to be doubling it in that way by 5 and 6. So
I know, right? So Monk, we have about 11 people now. So we are getting this. So now to the politics. So when you guys invited the president to the opening ceremony, did you have the opportunity to actually speak with the president? Were you actually given the opportunity? Were you asked as to how did you guys come out with this brilliant initiative and bringing this much to our country? Were you ever asked, or did you have the opportunity to even expound to speak to the president about this? Were you asked? Did you have the opportunity at all?
To be honest with you, I was really hoping that beyond the public event, by example, we brought almost 20 people to the country. The CEO of the Hamilton Public Library System traveled to Liberia to signal their seriousness about what they wanted to do with this. The vice provost of McMaster University, top 75 universities in the world, traveled to Liberia because, like I said, we're working with academic libraries from the university as well to indicate their seriousness. The engineering firm from Canada sent representatives with us. Donors, people who put their money in, came with us. It was my hope that at least, His Excellency would have recorded them, a courtesy one-on-one to hear their stories as to why. Unfortunately, again, I don't know the protocol. I don't know what was happening at the time to say we didn't get that opportunity. The president and his wife came to the dedication, and it was really great to have them there. He was. I heard that there was his first cabinet meeting, so he came by despite that. But unfortunately, I think it was a missed opportunity for the president to have also sold some of his own ideas beyond this project. These people are donors. These people who they can decide, the university can decide, beyond the learning center, Mr. President, based on what you just said, we will do a little more. We will support here. They have the library who say, Mr. President, we know we're supporting the learning center, but based on what you just said, we might be able to support more things beyond this. Unfortunately, we never got that opportunity.
That's sad.
That was very sad. Yeah. And I think the reason I asked this question, because I thought that was a very worthy opportunity that the president could have taken advantage of, and to also make you guys proud.
And second, let me add a layer.
Because the thing is, go ahead.
No, add a layer to this quickly. I consider Canada to be an untapped territory for Liberia. During the Ebola crisis, Sekou, Canada put in $200 million during the Ebola crisis. Beyond that, when the Canadian Prime Minister was elected Justin Trudeau, Liberia was the only African country he slept in. Nobody followed up on that till today's date. So I really thought, and people don't realize, the Canadian government, let me give you another breaking news, has approved a $4.9 million funding for Empowerment Square for our work in Liberia and Ghana. So the ambassador actually has sent a communique when we're going to Liberia as a result of this. So this thing is at the highest levels in government. Members of parliament were due to travel with us on the trip, but their section came out and they could not. So I really thought this would be the opportunity for us to start cultivating, opening the Canadian corridor. You know how many Liberians want to come to Canada to school? You know how many I've personally helped or whatever, but because we don't have any direct, serious diplomatic engagement.
Yes, diplomatic channel, you know, like the government to government.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is so
well,
sad.
moving forward, probably this particular show, this conversation today could open doors, I believe. Yep. And I know people are watching, some will watch later on. Mung, this level of missed opportunity, do you think they can get this kind of opportunity back soon?
I don't know. I don't want to believe that. You see, and Leo said it right. It's all about politics. We don't know when to play politics in Liberia. That's the problem. There were opportunities. People were there, prominent people. You got this kind of a great initiative, and you never took advantage of that. Because at that time, like I said, the country is a starving agency. So when you come up with a brilliant idea, they think it's about political reason. They think it's about politics, or you are looking for a job. So the opportunities were there. But the thing about opportunities is you must first recognize an opportunity before you can exploit opportunity. So they couldn't even recognize, at least talk about exploring the opportunity that was there at the time. So it's nothing strange, just Liberia for you. And I keep telling people, whether you want to play politics or not, I know the elder statesman, he's not bringing no new ideas to Liberia. Everything is the same old system, it's the same antiquated idea. And Leo said it right. The budget, look, the budget is like your vision on paper using financial statement. That's what our budget is. What you plan or what you intend to do. And tell me, it's total contradiction of the arrest. And the Front Page Africa even wrote a story on that people criticize, even international observer, economists from around the world. They were like, you cannot say you come with an arrest and look at the budget. The budget is not reflective of your idea. So, boss, that's Liberia for you, my brother. Everything will always be about politics.
So Mong, just an update. We got 13 people instead of from 11 to 13. So we get in there. So
our people should do more today. Good Friday, please. You guys need to show up, man. This is Escape TV, man. Let's show up. I need 20 before we go to the next.
Maybe because you show your face now, maybe some people gonna.
Yeah, people. I somebody said it to see your face for the first time today, so maybe that will be some.
So I'm always showing my face. The guys I'm in the location that I'll be often when people coming through because I'm not supposed to be on camera from where I'm sitting. But I need to show up.
Yeah. So again, Leo, my question to you: do you have any political ambition? You're such a brilliant, I would not say young man, but you're such a brilliant guy with a lot of innovative idea and smartness. You have a political ambition.
Let me say this in the secret directly. And I've been asked this question.
Because instead of you, the reason why, let me say this, the reason why I asked this question, instead of you focusing your energy, time, and resources, you will have been elected representative in Liberia if you were to direct all these energy and resources to politics, but you instead say you want to invest this time and energy and resources to help Liberia through education. That's where my question derived from. Do you have political ambition? And if so, why direct your time and energy and resources to something else that don't have no political incentives, at least for now?
Yeah. So let me say this way, and maybe my principles and the way I think is different. First of all, I don't take these offices for granted. I know the seriousness that's attached to these offices, whether representative, senator, up to the president office. These are what holds the power of our nation. They're not something to play with. They're not try and error. It's not where you go to do try and error. That's number one. Number two, I've been very disappointed that the standards by which we've treated these offices has been disgraceful. Some of the way people in these offices have conducted themselves makes me wonder, and what was the incentive for going there? But number three, I'm one person who believes that leadership is not by big mouth. Neither is it by abstract ideas. Education is not by degrees. Neither is it by graduating from the best universities. It's by your ability to take the little you know and actually bring it to fruition. That's why it's called education. Receiving is not just the one end. To complete it, it has to be delivered. So it all Seku learn to do, that to wash clothes. Seku whole life, that the only thing Seku learn to do is Seku is able to implement that. But when he wash the clothes, somebody pass and say, wow, who washed this clothes? Man, this person is good. Seku is educated. So for me, I've always said to myself, to run for office in Liberia, which by the way, my major is in economics and political science. That's my undergraduate degree, just so you know. But I felt like I have to earn that stripes and show the competency, not by stating ideas, but by demonstrating it in practice. This project that you're looking at, many other projects we've done, it's been 15 years in the making. This is not an overnight 2 years project. So I said to myself, anybody who wants to run for senator, representative, or president or vice president must demonstrate at least 10 years of a track record of deliverables, not big mouth. Because guess what? If I say I want to elect Seku or Leo say he won't run, when you electing Leo, you might be able to know that at least a Leo not do nothing. We know Leo can do anything here. Leo are not in office. Leo are able to accomplish it. So a Leo not accomplish anything else, it's worth it electing Leo just for this reason. Yeah. People should vote you based on your record. So I've always believed I wasn't there to step up and say I should be elected based on what? On ideas? We've seen that before. We heard that before. So I'll tell you this, Seku, if the right opportunity with my life, my young kids and all of that, if it aligns, absolutely, I'm a Liberian. I qualify to run, to participate in any political process. But I will only do that if I'm convinced that I've set the track record that if I do nothing else and only continue doing what I did, it will be sufficient to uphold the standard and the dignity of the office of whether a representative or a senator or any other elected office, period. Without that, I will be doing myself a disfavor. I will be dishonest with myself to take on a job I know I will not deliver on and just do it based on big mouth. I would never do that to myself, neither to my family, before I talk about to the whole Liberian people. So if I ever hear me Seku say, Leo say he's running for something, I will have to demonstrate the things I'm saying to you today to be able to tell you, say I'm even competent for people to listen to me if I say I will do something else.
Thank you so much. So let's take this caller here. Caller 763 number. Last 4 digits 6579. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Seku, how are you this afternoon?
We're doing great. How are you?
Grateful. And gentlemen, thanks for the conversation. Actually interesting. I call from my office in Brooklyn Center from the Statewide Protected Security Service office. I'm a private detective by profession. I'm a Liberian. And also to you, Leo. So I'm Patrick Sonny Wallow. I'm actually calling, to make some great inputs as Leo rightly said it. You know, we Liberians, we don't know the importance of some of the things that we see. So because of that, people don't give us credence because we are not politicians. But I've been following Leo, and I can assure you, my brother, you are on the right trajectory. Our major issues here in Liberia is people coming to lie to us. People coming with flamboyancy. It happens like people go around women. All right, some men will come around women, like they have it. All right, but they're coming for a particular goal. That's how our people look like in Liberia. But we don't follow people's track record. We just give people opportunity. Some people live with you in the same vicinity for decades. That person, you don't even know the ability of that person. You've been living with the man. You see how the man behave in the community. But at the end of the day, you give that man position. You give that man the authority to lead you. You expect us to move forward? No. We will not move forward. So we Liberians, we that have bright minds, we that have positive thinking, I don't think we need to keep talking. Gentlemen, we need to pull ourselves together and move. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. Another person will know this, the other person will know this, the other person will know this. We put ourselves together, we move. That will be the only way. It happened to Paul Kagame in Tanzania.
Paul Kagame in Rwanda.
Sorry?
Paul Kagame is in Rwanda.
Yeah, sorry. In Rwanda.
Julius Nyerere in Tanzania.
Yeah, sure. No, I'm referring to Paul Kagame.
I know. I'm just trying to give you another example of good leaders.
Excellent. Simple. The Rwandan make decisions based on these people past records. So when I hear one look at on the packet and give to people, you give them the opportunity to lead you. I expect for us to move forward. The even brings to build one bearing horse for himself. Even he's doing his own whether market business or he's doing his own something that's coming from his pocket. I'm talking about people stealing money around here doing projects and things. People even travel. Some of them live in the diaspora for decades. They haven't even able to turn back and say, let me do this home for the betterment of our people. But these people then will be seeking greener pasture they can't in front of us. They can lie to us. At the end of the day, our people too, they can't reason.
Yeah.
Because somebody can bring speed more. So it takes our country backward. And some of us will getting older. I will tell you, we're all in our 40s. All right? 10, 20 years from now.
Some in our 50s. Yeah.
Before you tell about any order, you might check yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, my brother. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Let me take the next call. I appreciate your time, brother.
Yeah,
really appreciate
your
contribution.
Yeah. Congratulations, Leo. I will hit you up, buddy.
All right, that's good.
Okay.
So let's get to our brother here, Ben. Ben, how you doing, sir? Undercover Sedition.
I got to bring the Ben man here today.
Yeah, how are you? Hey, Leo, what's up?
Benjamin, what are you doing?
Leo's there. I'm gonna cut you off.
Let me get make sure. Okay, so I have one question of safety for Leo. Of recent, we have seen there's so many fires that have been happening in the state of Monrovia, and I got so concerned about the library, and that's because in Liberia, people seem to encroach on lands and then build around areas, build in alleyways. Are you guys thinking about anything of that sort? Because some of these accidents that happen, it's only because other buildings are closer to other buildings, and because of no alleyways, those things happen. Have you guys thought about that? Thank you.
Thank you. Let me take that second.
Yeah, go ahead.
So let me say to you, Ben, when we're in Liberia recently, the reason I take these engineers and all these guys usually, and thank God for the sister city relationship, right, Sekou, because some of these things that nothing individual can take on is bigger. The problem in Liberia is not fire. The problem in Liberia is not congestion either. People always say the congestion. No. The problem in Liberia is the lack of urban planning. Period. You actually have enough lands and space just in and around Monrovia, and Pinzio alone, to Mambakwe, Fender, all those places, to properly urban plan. So when I talk to the engineers and the guys from Liberia, these few days were there, the guy were looking at me and people were telling me all the things you need. I was like, Leo, it's a simple fix to this problem, urban planning. He said, because you got the land, you actually got the space. The reason nobody will move from Monrovia, you go Curious Bread, certain thing you won't buy, you're going to go to Monrovia. No store in Curious Bread selling it. You got to come wait to Monrovia. So here, before people do urban planning, here's what they actually do. They will go to a place when they want to make a new residential place, right? The first thing the government will identify would be school, hospital, a little plaza, or whatever that is. So the moment you start seeing that going up, they put a signboard up, they say lost for sale. Who ain't want to live near the next beautiful plaza coming up, the next new school that's being designed for that place? Then you see people rushing to buy before even the house starting to be built. People start buying their lots.
Yeah,
you know, that's
and that play will be that play will start to into gain value in a split second
before you realize it. If you go in quicker, but here's what we do: we telling the people say they might go bail her in 15 gate, but when they want to buy something, they come all the way to Relay to come and buy it. So you need to do strategic urban planning with the government, where the government decides that the next market, like that Omega market, they put over there. How do you build a market in isolation of urban planning? You know the market is attractive in Liberia, like where people go, right? Use it as your next urban planning target. Take it and put it to a new settlement that you're designing things around already. The urban nature around it. Those who won't be in that market, if they can afford one lot there, they'll buy the alley one lot because they won't be in that market. So to answer Ben's question, yes. In fact, some of the reason we did the sister city relationship is so that the city of Hamilton, the engineers and team can start helping the city of Painesville we want to start with understanding urban planning. How do you plan for Mount Barkley? Saying that a new place, everybody buying land. How do you train your surveyors so that when they are surveying, let me tell you something, Sekou. You know there is no surveying school in Liberia. All of our correct qualified surveyors are dying. They're very old. All of them are dying. So the only people you got left are the people who did and said training, right? And sometimes those people don't get the training properly. So when they go survey your land, half of it on the alley or in a row where the street's supposed to actually be, because there is no surveying school in the Republic of Liberia. That's why you're getting all the land conflicts, all the confusion on land. All of our qualified surveyors are very old. The Bazi Roberts, the ECB Junes, they are hitting their end. So what's going to happen in the next 10 years if we don't do something? We'll be in a massive crisis with no proper surveyors in the country, because most of the newer ones, you're supposed to go through a full training program and not just being trained on somebody.
So somebody just said something that's funny. So for example, Joseph Bagai appointed Mark Jabate to be the urban assistant minister of urban affairs, right?
No problem, man.
You're talking about urban planning and zoning and all the other things there.
Yeah.
You want to invite Mike Jabate to come discuss?
Somebody say he will solve the problem.
Because the thing is, that's what I said earlier. They are appointing people to position because of what they did for them doing campaigning.
Yeah.
Not because what they are people doing or what they are qualified, to do. So, and this has been a vicious cycle. That's all we go through, from government to government, from president to president, and until we can destroy those fabrics and rebuild them to be in line with the contemporary world, to say, you know what, the other one in their old age things, they have outlived their usefulness. Let's do some new things. Let's invite some innovative minds. Let's be up to date. Let's turn with current realities. Things that align with, with current developmental agenda of other countries. We're not going to go anywhere. So you need our president with that innovative mindset that is willing to go against the odd, that is willing to go against the status quo, to say, you know what, let's do things differently. Let's see if nothing will change. But in Liberia, we always say, doing one thing over and over and expect different result is a kind of insanity, right? But we continue to do the same thing. So are we insane?
Good question. But think about it. People comfortable, they buy land, they buy house, right? Second, you drive the car to your house. You got to stop the car, walk for 5 minutes to reach your house. Because everybody not there, you went no road to go to the house. Go to RIA Highway, people didn't buy. Everybody just bidding indiscriminately. And in fact, when they're bidding, they can be trying to take more land as they're bidding. Not really, you might be cutting into a street.
Not leaving any room for for passage, for car room, or nothing.
Yeah, no alley. And just imagine that's somewhere people think might be the future capital, though. Because you have access to the airport, it's a coastal
even Freetown.
Yeah.
Freetown being, Freetown, they be having some, there has been number.
Oh yeah, because but that's you can number the house, because if the place is surveyed properly, right? Sekou,
Yeah.
The lots are marked. If you guys, let's say 10,000 acres of land here, and the survey was done properly, the record will show lot 1, lot 2, lot 3, lot 4, lot 5. So to do addresses is easy, because you can plan the addresses based on lots. You don't need to know which house is there. So even when a house is not on a spot, you can actually have an address there already before even somebody buy and build a house there.
So
yeah.
Let me give you one instance where I knew that we never knew anything in that country, right? That we are way beyond.
But people get already so educated.
Yeah. Let me give you one typical example. I came from Kowe. I used to live in Kowe, right? When you go to where the Harley Elizabeth Tubman Memorial High School in Upper Kowe there, right? They had a Sierra Leone refugee camp over there. The Sierra Leone refugee camp was made with mud, that just say thatches and tarpaulin. But when you go over there, the way in which it was structured, I mean cross-sectionally, perpendicularly, a mathematician would say, like you're plotting a map. You can stand on one screen and see literally at the end, everything is done in order, right? I'm talking about just palm touches.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Why are you going, Mongo? Why are you going to the Sierra Leone refugee camp? Let me give you an example.
That's the one that I saw before leaving the country.
Our villages are more layout.
Yes.
Our villages are more layout when you go to the village than the cities.
And that's why the former U.S. how they call it, ambassador said, because he used to wear as a Peace Corps in Liberia. You know that the McCarthy guy who left from Liberia. That's why he said that the villages, the city is more dirty than the villages. That why exactly
our villages have something called a fractal system. So if you look at the villages, they are round. The way they build, the way the houses are added, it's a mathematical system called fractals. Not because so it's designed that the village can extend to infinity.
Yeah, using the smaller patterns.
Exactly, the smaller patterns of expansion are the reason why one village can be here for 10,000 years. You don't got to worry about garbage collection, pollution, and all that issue, even though it's been here 10,000 years, because they designed it in something called the fractal system. Yeah. So it's rounded and it's designed to expand to infinity. So our villages are actually laid out with some sense to it compared to our urban areas.
So, why is it up there on the cash app? The numbers reducing, and
I think we're gonna call it a day because
well, thank you. Yeah, myself, I gotta run.
Yeah, so Leo, first of all, before you go, I want to say thank you to you for your time. We really, really appreciate you, and we will do it again. Yeah. I know this was about the project and moving forward. We expand on the project, and we'll also come here and talk politics, talk policy, and talk about developmental agenda and ideas and recommendation, for our country. Yeah. So we really, really appreciate your time, and we'll see you again, my brother.
Thank you, Sekou.
All right. So let's take Mr. John Mawolo, then Bonga, then I will give you update. I've not seen any changes as of yet, but I will update you after Mr. Mawolo.
Yeah.
Mr. John Mawolo.
Yeah, Sekou, hi, and to Leo, I say hi, Mark, and whoever else is on, Steve, and all of that.
Yeah.
Listen, I couldn't let this thing pass. I'm very busy, but I couldn't let this conversation pass without saying something about it.
Go ahead.
Leo, I want to thank you very much. Look, what the research alone that was done just for that library.
Yeah.
If you can find one Liberian government ministry or entity that does half of that research just to get their project done, let me never step to Liberia again. Listen, our people, these are some of the advantages we get from people in the diaspora. Do you know that right now there is no milling system in Liberia? You're running a whole country, 167-year-old country. There is no milling system. Not even to have folks back somewhere where you can send a letter.
Nothing.
And the people find it all right. Everybody sit down and say it's all right. Listen, Leo, what you're doing should be a landmark for the Republic of Liberia to start rethinking how they do stuff. But one thing I want to admonish you, Leo,
Leo, anyway, Mr. Mawolo, Leo already left, but I think he got a message. He probably listening in the back because he's not on the set right now, just to let you know.
I saw them build the market at the red light. You build a whole market without enlarging the road in the area, without enlarging the road to the place, without putting loading dock at the place, without putting refrigeration. Yet you want thousands of marketers to go there. That's why the people won't go there.
Yeah.
That library, I went around the Pingsville.
So he said he's listening in the back. So yes.
Yeah, I went around the Pingsville town hall, and I kept wondering, how can they have this place congested like they and call it a town hall? And that was my second time going to Liberia in 40 years. Listen, I want to admonish you, Leo, since you took an engineer there, I think what they need to try to do is to enlarging the streets and start the urban planning from right in that area, because a lot of people will be going to that library. I can guarantee you, and the traffic will be uncontrollable.
Yeah.
The second thing is that the fees for participating or being a part of that, individually, we can do it, say, oh, the Liberian people didn't get the money. But if companies, schools, and businesses have to use that library, I can tell you, Leo, don't be afraid to charge these people what it's worth. And I can guarantee you, charge them no less than $1,000 for being a part of it, because you got to inculcate in that thing the amount of theft. Because these people, every good thing they see, their plan is to damage it. So get that in your plan as you're doing this. But I want to thank you so much. Thank you, and I will do what I can to support your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mawolo. We appreciate your time. So, Monk, I will update you for the last time, then we can call it a day. 1, 2, 3. Hold on. All right. Yeah. 1 second, Monk. Yep. Stay the same, 13. We want to take this time to appreciate those who donated to SKTV. I know many of you, can say don't call my name, but whether we call your name or not, we really appreciate you. Mom said, I don't know if you say 20 for 30 or 40 for 20 or whatever that was. We fell short today, and it's okay. People have always, supported SKTV. So when we do not have a lot of people to do who are willing or who have it, because some people are willing, but they don't have it. Some people have it, they're not willing, but we should be grateful to those who have donated and always, donating to SKTV. We really appreciate all of you guys for your support. The only reason why we make more emphasis on Friday, because that's the only day we collectively, all of us, selected to be chipping in to help us manage the platform. And we appreciate what you do. Monk, anything else before we go?
You say, well, the update again, because
yeah, they said there are the 13 people. No addition since I last updated. Are you there? It looks like Mon having some issue with Mon, can you hear me? All right. Yeah, I guess his internet was giving him some problems. So yes, we want to say thank you to you. I'm waiting for Mon to come. Maybe he probably want to say something before we leave. I don't want to close the show while we stay. Hold on, what's going on here? Well, yeah, okay. I think Mon want to say something. Mon want to say something before we leave?
Yeah, I said we'll call it quick for the day because today is Good Friday. It's not a regular Friday, so we'll take it for today. But I will do roll over for all the shortcoming for this Friday, we'll put it over the next Friday. So, but it was nice. It was a nice show.
Maybe tomorrow some people will come here that were not here today.
Yeah.
So let's see what happened over the weekend.
We want to keep the tradition going on the Friday, so we don't want to do ordinary days. I mean,
yeah, but sometimes, yeah. But remember the last Friday we fell short same way. So
yeah, they gotta meet the quota. We got a target, we got a budget here, and we gotta meet our benchmark. But anyway, the people at SKTV always show up. Sometimes they show up even way more than expectations. So we'll give them the
they've done that many times. That's why anytime we kind of fall short, I say that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So another person just did something just now as you were speaking. Maybe some people will do it while we while we are now on the show. Some people will stay on it. So yes, thank you so much. Monk, we should call it a day.
Yeah, let's call it a day.
All right. So my people, thank you. We appreciate your time. We'll see you tomorrow. And thank you all for supporting SKTV financially, morally, and especially those of you who stay on here and share the show all the time. We really, really appreciate you guys. And to all of you watching us on other social media platforms, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Twitter, we say thank you. We appreciate you guys. And we love you all. We'll see you tomorrow.